Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Breaking them on in, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the woman's in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Coach and Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary.
Now Pizarro dinking to the path here of Ulloa, appeals for handball. Now Ulloa outside of the boot, plays it out wide to Ben Sweat on the left-hand side. Sweat will measure the crosses in towards Carranza, who's won the header. It's a cross goal, and it's a second for Inter Miami. Carranza has announced his arrival to the club with 2 goals in the opening 23 minutes, and Miami have their lead back. It's Inter Miami 2, Orlando City 1.
We just talked about overlapping fullbacks, and that's Ben Sweat's greatest quality. He can serve a ball if you get him in good positions. Victor Yola finds him. He's got time and space to get the ball far post, and then Carranza goes against the grain, back far post again. Que golazo! Brilliant goal. No chance for the goalkeeper.
This is the Big O Show.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear that? Yeah. Saturday. That was sweetness as Inter Miami gets their first victory of the season, going 1-5. They were knocking on the door for so damn long, man. That was good. That was good on the Inter Miami Radio Network, which, of course, I am a part of. You just heard Chris Whittingham and Thomas Rongen there on Julian Carranza's second goal, which was a beautiful thing. I mean, Ben Sweat has not been, sensational. He's kind of struggled some, so that was a really good moment for Ben. Hell of an assist on the other side, and Carranza to head that thing to the opposite side goal. That was just absolutely beautiful, man. And, of course, we'll get into that conversation. Franco Pano will be joining us later on in the program to talk a little bit about that victory. The Miami Heat, they go up 3-0 against the Pacers, 124-115. You got to be, listen, I'm dead wrong on this one, right? I had the Heat in 5. I don't think the Pacers are going to win one game here. I gave them at least one out of respect. And, boy, the Heat, damn, boy, they're taking care of business. We'll see if today at 6 o'clock they can finish them out. This is always the hardest game because, obviously, all these teams want to avoid, sweeps. You know what I'm saying? But you see what's going on in that Nets series, how that was a sweep with the Raptors and then the Celtics sweeping the Sixers. I didn't see that one. I mean, I picked the Celtics to win that series, as you all know, and I've cashed in a couple times with the points and everything, but I really did not expect a sweep of the Sixers. I thought they would win at least 1, maybe 2 games. I think I had Celtics in 6 in that one, but I gave them at least a little respect, and, man, they were just absolutely terrible. So Marlins, unfortunately, lost 3 of 4 to the Washington Nationals over the weekend. They will wrap up the series tonight at 6:05, their 5th game against the Nationals. They did win one of the 2 games on Saturday. Lewis Brinson with a nice catch. Kid's batting 107, but still a nice catch by him. At least his defense, at least his offense is not getting in the way mentally of his defense, in other words. You know what I'm saying? So killer weekend, man. Great weekend basketball-wise. Luka Doncic. Wow. That was just absolutely amazing. I mean, there's so many things to talk about. Obviously, Dolphins training camp going on. And I guess, Tua looked a little better over the weekend, which, again, this is just pure silliness and overreaction one way or the other. You can't measure anybody when they haven't had an entire offseason. And this is the first time they put on pads. There's going to be all kinds of screw-ups. And when you talk about a youngster coming up to this league, are you kidding me? That's going to be really hard, to overcome. So we got a bunch of things to talk about today on the program. Hope you guys are doing well. You doing all right, Bill?
Yes, I am, actually. Going to bring out the brooms tonight.
Yes. I think they'll be focused on the brooms. Milwaukee's playing an extra game than Miami if you finish it because they allowed the Magic to win one game. So that's where that'll end up and that's where that story will finish. We got a bunch of things to talk about today on the program. You know what? Maybe let's start first of all with the Miami Heat as they improved to 3-0, and on Saturday they came up with a 124-115 win. Impressive win for the Heat. Jimmy Butler, 17 of 20 from the free throw line. I mean, talk about this is as blue collar as it gets. He has been so smart the way he has approached his participation, his leadership, the way he has played the game with such intelligence. Overall, he knows he's not a guy that's going to shoot lights out, although he's actually hit several three-pointers so far in this series, which is pretty cool. But Butler, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, a block. Obviously, got fouled a lot, went to the line, took care of business. Bam played out of his mind again, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Dragon, I mean, it's interesting how things have turned for the Dragon, right? Because years ago when he first signed this contract, people thought, wow, that's an expensive contract. They're overpaying him. And then as the salary started to climb, his salary did not look that out of place anymore. I mean, backup role players are getting $8 and $10 million in this league. So paying him, what was it, 15, 17 or whatever, it wasn't anything out of this world. But to us, early on, we thought that contract, right, a lot of people were complaining about it. And that has all subsided as the years have gone on, as the salaries have skyrocketed, and you've noticed that actually they're getting a pretty good bargain, overall with Dragon. And so it's pretty cool to see. And I know that Spo praised him and gave him that label, that Zoe Wade type label, that he's one of those kind of guys. And he has earned the right to be. He's not going to be in their stratosphere, okay? Talent-wise and, production and all those kind of things. You're talking about the elite of the elite that's ever played in the Miami Heat organization. When you talk about the Wades of the world and and even UD, it may not be elite in the sense of points and rebounds, but still he was a heck of a player, and his tenure is something, I mean, it's, 20 years. It's amazing that he's been with the organization that long. So that puts him at another level also. But there's no doubt that Goran belongs in that pedestal, that you look at him as one of the leaders of this basketball team. And, in an era where we just went through the whole Minka Fitzpatrick thing last year, where they had to trade him because the idiot didn't want to be a team player. And you're labeled as the Swiss Army knife, but then when they ask you to be Swiss Army, you're not willing to be Swiss Army. You know what I mean? And then in Pittsburgh, towards the end of the season, he was like, well, I think I need to become more Swiss Army. And it's like, dude, make up your mind. And the Jesse Davises of the world never complain, right? Goran Dragic never complained about taking away his starting job and putting him on the bench. Never. No, we're going to use you off the bench. You're going to be the energizer, this and that. No problem. I'm all for it. And what did he do? He excelled at that position. He came off the bench and ignited your team every single time. And so now Kendrick Nunn has not been productive offensively for a long time. Okay? I know I'm one of the few people in the world that does media that actually will be brutally honest. You know what I mean? And I've been saying this about Kendrick Nunn for a while now, that, offensively, he's just not an efficient player anymore. He was efficient early in maybe first month or two. After that, he was done with efficiency. He was just not a good shooter. Hasn't been for a while. And so they put him on the bench. And so then you call on Goran to be your starter again. And sure enough, he comes through for you. And I want to mention it because I don't want it to go under the radar, okay? Because we see what happens with other players who aren't willing to sacrifice for the team. If the coach needs you off the bench, then help him off the bench. And if the coach needs you to switch positions, then switch positions. It is what it is. If he feels you can do it, then go and do it. You know what I mean? And so when they're trying to put Minka closer to the box, well, maybe they want to make you better against the run. You know what I mean? Maybe they want to teach you how to, shed blocks. Maybe they want to teach you how to do certain other things that you weren't strong at. Because in this defense, with the Dolphins, they want you to be multiple. They don't want you to be a specialist that you only do one thing. They don't need that they need a guy that's really smart and can play multiple positions. And so Goran Dragic, it's not different positions, but it's different responsibilities. And when they take your starting job away, I don't need to tell you guys this. I don't need to tell Bill this. Everybody's seen it. Anybody that's been watching sports long enough, you've seen the disgruntled, pissed off player that lost his starting job and then tunes out the team and the coach, and no, he won't have any of it. And you're not getting that from Goran. You never got it from Goran. That's a leader. That's a leader. And that's where Kendrick Nunn, shut your mouth, and he has. He's been outstanding in that, okay? While I say he hasn't been efficiently an offensive player that's been efficient, he's been inefficient. I'll tell you this, he's handled the demotion with incredible maturity, and he should, because he hasn't earned what he was starting. They kind of gave it to him because he got a hot hand, and they said, all right, well, let's ride it out. Well, they rode it out as much as they could, and now you got to do what's best for the team, which, again, goes to the credit of who? Eric Spoelstra and his staff, because those guys are looking at it and saying, okay, look, we're getting down to the meat of the matter now. We got to do what's best for the team. We got to put the best people out there right now, and we need Goran to help us out here. And they made the change. So look, the 3-0 storyline is great. The Pacers are, they're not 100%. Sabonis is out. Oladipo's really not himself yet. You know what I'm saying? So they're doing what they're supposed to do. A little better than I even expected myself because, I thought maybe 5 games in this one, But just a lot of credit to the Heat, man, and a lot of credit to the culture, a lot of credit to the players, the way they have sacrificed, whether it's Goran, whether it's Nunn, watching Bam play his ass off every night, watching Jimmy sell out his body every night for this team, going into the hole and drawing tons of fouls and going to the line and taking a beating, all of this. Or dishing a beating when they throw a ball at his opponent, whatever Jimmy's doing. You got to love everything about the Heat right now. It's a perfect example for the Dolphins, for Inter Miami, for the Panthers, for the Marlins. The Heat are the gold standard of operating professionally in South Florida, whether it's on the court, off the court, media, you name it. Nobody handles it better than the Miami Heat. And every franchise should look at those guys at the way they do things. exceptional.
You remember when Goran came back from Europe? They had won the championship, and he was breaking down a little bit.
Yeah.
We were talking about trading him, man. There was a lot of us that were like,
yeah, there were a lot of people at that time that want to get rid of him. Yes.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. In hindsight,
that was the worst thing that he ever did for the Heat.
I am so glad we did not get rid of that guy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they need
because he is such a team player. He fits the Heat mold perfect.
Yeah, he's a perfect leader.
Him and Jimmy.
The team.
They always talk about Udonis and the pass down, and Dragic was talking about it after the game. D Wade, the crossover with him, what he learned from him, the Heat way, and it just carries on.
Yeah.
And he's the perfect mold. The guy, I'm so glad we didn't get rid of him when we were talking about trading him.
Yep. No, I'm with you. There's no doubt about that. And then last night, if you didn't watch the Dallas Clippers game, you missed out. And listen, I'm guilty of this because a lot of you are probably guilty too. Oh, no, Porzingis and Doncic is coming back from that ankle injury that he couldn't finish the last game. Oh, they're toast. So I was actually, working on our game script for Wednesday for the Atlanta Inter Miami game, and I'm putting together the script for everything. And I'm doing the game. I'm watching the game, and I'm kind of half-assing it because I got to concentrate on writing the script. And I'm watching the game. I'm listening and watching, and I glance up, and you know how it is when you're working. So and I kept looking, and I go, wow, this is actually a game. They came back, and Doncic is on fire, and he's putting together one hell of a performance, and then he nails that three at the end. And when they went into overtime, I will say, oh my God, this is one of those. Great effort. You run out of gas in overtime. The Clippers win. And I tweeted out when I saw that Porzingis was out. If any of you that follow me on Twitter, I tweeted out, I go, can the Clippers get any more breaks in this series? Seriously. They what's it called? Porzingis gets ejected in the game that they were handling the Clippers at that point. Porzingis goes out, they probably win that game, dude. This should be 3-1 Dallas, no less than 3-1. I can make an argument that this should be a sweep by Dallas. Dallas has been the better team. I did not see this coming either. Okay? Anybody think that Dallas was the better team? Now, what I have been on, and you know it, and those of you watch it, when I make my picks, I've been all over Dallas because of the points. Have I not? Every time I've taken the dog and I give me the points, because I do know how good Dallas is offensively. But, man, I didn't know they were this good.
The spread in the game are two different things.
Right, exactly.
They are.
Exactly.
The spread in the game are two. It's harder to hit the spread.
But, hell, I'm thinking of Dallas losing close games. I'm not just thinking them winning. And now they've been the better team, dude. I mean, I feel bad for the Mavs fans because they've gotten jobbed completely in this series. Okay?
It sounds like this is the nagging knee thing with Porzingis because I was looking back and it's been on again, off again. What do you do here, man?
Oh, it's the playoffs. You got to play, bro.
You got to play. If you can play, look, you don't save them.
If the doctors say you can't further injure it, you can't
get out there.
Then you got to get the look at Luka. He twisted up his ankle and he comes back.
Yes.
And what was it?
Yeah.
43 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists, 2 steals, and they called him a white bitch boy or whatever it was that what's it called, Montrezl Harrell, and apparently he apologized and everything. Whatever. I mean,
guy's a beast, man.
Trey Burke, dude, 25 points.
Kid's not even 21 yet.
No, he's a monster. He's a monster.
And you have him as a rookie keeper in
one
your
more
basketball.
One more year. All right, next year I start out with 2 keepers in my backcourt, Luka Doncic and John Morant, because you can draft them.
Who are you playing with, by the way, that they let you have those 2 guys?
They didn't let me have them. They're in the draft. I just picked them. I'm just good.
Oh,
sorry.
Like that. Okay, fantasy.
Sorry.
Okay, fantasy maven.
I also have Kendrick Nunn too, by the way, on my team. So it's just like, and John Collins was my 3rd year. I lose them today. I'm actually, I've been in this league 20 years. Okay,
Only 20. Only.
Okay, I got Jokic. I drafted him I drafted Giannis. Okay, I draft all these as young as keepers. Okay, what's the name of the kid from Charlotte that was in Portland? The French guy. He was really good early on for Portland. He's been injured in Charlotte. I forgot his name now. I'm actually, I know
It's a shame that you don't get
I know
to keep
everybody
him.
knows me for football, okay? But when it comes to fantasy basketball, I do a pretty good job of eyeing these guys early on and get those guys as keepers.
And those keeper kids you only get for 4.
The first 3 years.
First three. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Giannis sucked his first year. Like I had Giannis, I had the freak his first year, and I had him on the bench the entire year. And then the second and third year, second he became a decent player. Third, he became a really good fantasy player, and then I lost him.
How many keepers are you allowed to hold?
5, up to 5.
Up to 5.
Up to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, let me stop boring you with this crap. Anyway, so Dallas has been the better team. Tuesday, they play again at 9 o'clock. And I got to tell you, maybe it's just the American in me because it's something common of us as Americans that we love to root for the underdog. And this is one of those where I know I picked the Clippers to win the title, but, man, I am rooting for the Mavs to win this series. You know what I'm saying? Who cares? It's fine with me.
I'm with you. Hey, I'm with you.
Story.
Look, Dallas,
Great
them
story,
beating
man.
us, the first championship.
Oh, hey.
But you know what? The fact that we started the second season, visiting and watching them celebrate, it put a little fire that second year going in. It's okay. But I don't have any love for Dallas.
I don't know.
But Ben,
I don't hate Dallas for that. I despise LeBron for being such a wuss with J.J. Barea and letting him, post you up and stuff. I mean, the stuff that happened in that series where LeBron was still small in key moments. And that's where the following year he had his moment finally with the Celtics.
that Boston game, yeah.
Game 6, where that's why he'll never be Jordan. He never can be Jordan. Because
That go for the jugular
that moment for him was in North Carolina, bro.
against the Hoyas. I was a Hoya fan back then.
Okay? He was the guy that cut your throat out since, he's like Dwayne Wade. He looks at you with that little baby face and all that, and then he says, oh I'm also here to cut your heart out.
He rips it out, man, and watches it beat in his hand.
Right. You saw Wade from what? The Charlotte series in his first year with those guys, and he hit the three-pointer from outside. It was a huge shot, and right there you knew that's dog. That guy has dog in him. LeBron had to learn to have the dog in him, and it took him several years to get to that point where he had the dog in him. And so that's why I still blame LeBron more than anything else.
Okay.
Because we were the more talented team. Dallas was the better team overall. They were more constructed to be a team. We weren't a team yet.
Yeah, it was our first year.
Yeah. We
We're
had
still finding our way.
and
Yeah.
all those guys, and it just wasn't. We didn't have the right pieces around the big three to kind of complete it all. Which I think when you look at Milwaukee at times, you wonder, do they have enough shooting around them? And that's where Milwaukee is going to struggle against Miami. That's why Miami has played so well. If Miami shoots their threes in the next series, they're actually going to have a legitimate shot against Milwaukee.
I'm like you, obviously, anybody but the Lakers, okay? Anybody but the Lakers. So rooting for the Clippers, but I'm with you on the Dallas thing.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Dallas.
Yeah. Me
They're
too.
fun to watch.
No, man, definitely, man. They've earned it, and they've gotten screwed. I hate to see teams get screwed.
Yeah, they've stacked the deck. No
They've
doubt.
gotten way too much. What's it called?
They just keep putting up
ugly
adversities,
stuff.
man. Yeah, adversity after, and they keep overcoming, man. I got to give them props.
Yeah. All right. So we went 2-2 on Friday. So we're 12-8 against the spread. Let's give you our picks today. Bucks are favored by 13.5 against the Magic today. That's a lot of points. They should win by those points. But you know what? It's so many points. I'm going to take the Magic plus 13.5 here in this one because I just think the Magic will do their best to just kill themselves to try to keep it as close as possible. And maybe the Bucks get bored at the end and they kind of backdoor this thing. And
they're already moving on to the Heat, man.
Right,
they
yeah.
don't need to win. If they win by 7, 5, whatever, it's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I something, I'm just going to take the Magic on this one for 13.5, but I'm also going to go over 225. So I've got 2 bets on this one because I do believe there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one because I think the Magic are they're going to try to shoot lights out. Fournier and all these guys, Vucevic, all these guys have to just play the game of their lives to kind of keep it, somewhat interesting. So I'm going to go over 225, and I'm going to go Magic plus 13.5 in this one. Rockets and Thunder. Thunder just won the other day, so Rockets have to come back. They're favored by 3.5. I'm going to give the 3.5 this time. I think the Rockets are going to bounce back. I think they'll win by 4 or more points in this one. So give me Rockets as the favorite against the Thunder. Pacers and Heat. This one, I am going back and forth because the number's up to 6 now. Heat are favored. And I would imagine that, again, this is kind of like the same thing with the Magic. The only problem is 6 is not nearly as much as 13.5. So that's a whole different ball game there in this one. But you know what I am going to do in this game, okay? Because I think it is going to get a little loosey-goosey on this one. I'm going to go over 216.5, okay? That's the over and under here. I think that instead of going with the points, taking them, or giving the points away, I'm going to actually go with the over because I think this one is going to be a little bit of a scoring affair overall. So I'll go over 216.5 between the Heat and the Pacers, which they scored 124, 115 in the last game. That's a little bit more than 216 last time I checked, if I do my math correctly. It's by 23 points, so that's quite a bit. So let me go over 216.5. Lakers and Blazers. Lakers are favored by 7.5. Hey, where are all those people that were chiming in after the Blazers won and all that? Are you kind of like, is that enthusiasm kind of calmed down already at this point? Anyway, I expect the Lakers to win again today. Blazers, listen, they're going to do their best to try to make it. Again, 7.5 has me as it's one of those where I know the Blazers are going to be desperate for this game. I'm going to go with high scoring. I'm going to go over 224.5 in this one. Okay, the game the other night. Damn, I did not write it down, but the game the other night, they scored their share of points too. That's why I just think that in the bubble there isn't a lot of these incredible defensive matchups in the bubble. You know what I'm saying? It was 119 to 107. I'm sorry, it was 116 to 108. So they scored 224 points, which is right on the number at 224.5. I expect the Blazers to have a better offensive performance. Defensively, I don't think they can do anything to slow down the Lakers. Okay? The Lakers are a pretty damn good defensive club, but I'm expecting Lillard and McCullough to really show up today. They've got to show up. McCullough was 12 of 25, 4 of 12 from three-point range. He's got to do better than that. And Lillard was 8 of 20, 5 of 11 from three-point range, but 8 of 20 overall with 34 points. I expect both guys to be a little bit more efficient. I expect both guys to produce a little bit more. And their bench, that's another thing with Portland. Portland's bench, Gary Trent has got to do better, bro. As a guy off that bench, he's got to provide a little bit more because they don't have a lot of bite off that bench. That is a problem right now for Portland, is that bench. But I expect the two top guys to really shine today. So I'm going to go over 224.5. Again, here are my picks. I'm going Magic plus 13.5. I'm going over 225. I'm going Rockets minus 3.5. I'm going Pacers Heat over 216.5. And I'm going Lakers Blazers over 224.5. Those are my picks in the NBA slate tonight. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side. If you want to get in, you can chime in on the YouTube chat board, on the Super Chat. We've got the text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in, of course, email Orlando@Big O Radio Show. We got Bill driving the program. We'll take a break. Back with more right here on the Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
When there's winning, it's fun, right? It's just awesome. You know, it's just a great weekend. It was fun to be at Inter Miami Stadium. I didn't hear what we were supposed to hear, bro. You didn't give me any love here. What's going on? Where's the action from Saturday?
Oh, I thought you were talking about that for Frank.
No, bro. No. Anyway, it's just, forget it, bro. Don't worry about it. Let's save it for the top of the hour. So it was just a great time this weekend where we were able to enjoy a victory. And, the part that sucked was that you guys weren't able to attend. Although I don't know if it was Southern Legion. I don't know if it was Vice City, okay? I don't know if it was the Siege. It was a combination of guys and ladies. But we had fans that came to the stadium and they stood outside the northeast gate because you could see the fields from outside the stadium on the gates. The northeast and the southeast gates, I don't think you can get to the southeast gate because it's closed up, but the northeast gate you can reach from the street. And we had a group of fans that were there throughout the game and into the postgame. Those fans brought fireworks, smoke bombs, flags. They were cheering, chanting. I don't know which one of you all out there were out there, but whoever was out there, I just want to give you so much love. We were watching you guys from the broadcast booth the entire time. If you listen to the radio broadcast, we mentioned it, several times, and it was impressive, man. It was impressive. And listen, a lot of the games were already sold out. Most of them were close to sellouts. All right, so we were supposed to have close to 19 or 19,000 people, whatever. We were either going to have 19 or very close to 19,000 people at every game this year. Okay, this place was going to be packed. It was going to be loud. It was going to be see, I think an Inter-Miami game is like a Heat game. I think it turns into an event. It's not just a game, it's an event. It's kind of what I want to say. And it was a lot of fun. And then you watch the Heat on Saturday. The only thing that, and I don't call it depressing, too many people get hung up with the Marlins losing and all that. And it's kind of, I look at it very Dolphin-like, that these are kids, man. They're learning how to play the game at this level. In baseball, it's really hard to win with youth, man. And if you're going to win with some youth, it's got to be surrounded with some veterans. You know what I mean? And they don't have enough of that right now. They just don't. You know what I mean? And their young guys are really, really, really young. We're not talking about guys that have been in the minors for 3-4 years seasoning, and then now they've had maybe 2 years of major league service, and now they're, maduro, as we say in Spanish. No, these guys are green. And so I don't get hung up on the Marlin losing. I don't look at it as a negative. I don't bash the team for that kind of stuff because I know where they're at. They're in the infancy stages. They're supposed to lose. In fact, you know what I mean? That's really what it's all about. Anyway, so good stuff and great job by the fans that went to the Inter-Miami game and stood out. I'm sure the crowd might be even bigger on Wednesday when we're out at the stadium doing our thing, which, again, long day on Wednesday because we'll do our show from VSS West Pines, and then we'll shoot over to the stadium several hours before the game to hang out and get ready for the game. I'm looking forward to it. It's a shame that fans can't be there at the stadium, but again, those of you out there in the supporter groups that were out there, because I'm sure they were from the supporter groups. I don't think it were regular. If there were regular fans, it was maybe one or two. Most of those folks that were out there, I bet, were from one of the three supporter groups. No doubt about it in my mind. Let me do a little roll call here on the show. Julius 305, my man, number one in the house. And by the way, Julius, I'm using your thingamajig more and more and more because I'm remembering it too. You know what I mean? Early on, I would forget about it. I had it on my keychain. I would forget about it. Like, in fact, in the Inter-Miami game, I had to press, the floors for the elevators. I used the thing you gave me, man. So thank you very much. DJ Gallagher's in the house. Matthew Walker. Josh is in. Troy Ortiz. Ian from Brooklyn. He says, Josh says, let's go Heat. Time to break out the broom. Yes, sir. Big Rig is in. Good morning, Big O. And to all live chat fam, love you all. Love each other. Damn right. Mark McIntyre says, Heat are rolling. Captain Swole TV says, stupid Miami Dolphins today. YouTube channel asking, should we sign Earl Thomas, and saying we can pay him. Some of our fan base still with that stupid mindset that held us down for 20 years. Amen, my brother. Plus, this moron got kicked off this team in a year. And we're not talking like about a terrible franchise. The Baltimore Ravens are a hell of a franchise. This guy's fighting with teammates. And do you think they kicked him out for that one fight? Huh? In 1 year, that supposedly he was late to meetings. Supposedly he was a real pain in the ass. Brian Flores is not going to want any of that, dude. Okay? So no, don't even bother. It's about developing our own, draft our guys, develop our guys. And if you're going to bring in a seasoned veteran, it has to be a veteran of character. And clearly, Earl Thomas is not a veteran of character. Okay? We're learning a lot of things. Seattle must have hit a lot with Earl Thomas, just like Pittsburgh hit a lot with Antonio Brown. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So sometimes it isn't what you think, and there's a hell of a lot more apparently going on behind the scenes. And some of these teams will tolerate some of these guys until their productivity doesn't match doesn't supersede their pain in the ass ways. Okay? Once your pain in the ass ways is equal or superior to your talent, you're out. And that's what's happening right now to Earl Thomas. So no, he's not a Dolphin player. Not a Brian Flores type.
Can I make us a guess?
What?
Dallas. Thomas. If they could get it under the cap.
Yeah.
Dallas is going to try, right?
Yeah.
This is the kind of guy they take.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Yes. But again, I just, to me, just not a guy that you sign for the Dolphins. That's all I'm saying. So stay away from, it's just, we get into this stupidity every time. Every time somebody becomes available. I've been doing this for 30 years, bro. 30 years I've been doing this on radio. Okay? On this show, I've been doing it for 30 years. Every time anybody becomes available, we should sign them all. And I'm sure the hosts in Dallas have been doing it the same way, and the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers and everybody else. And it's fans are fans. There's this section of fans that they want to buy everything, and they think the panacea to it all is just to throw money at it. Did you watch the last 20 years? Because they threw a lot of money at it, and it doesn't work out.
If we bought all the players that all these people have wanted us to get, we'd have no cap money. We'd be right up against the cap, right?
Right. And then dead cap money, like what the Ravens have to deal with, $10 million of dead cap money. Okay? 76ers are now the new Toronto Raptors as underachieving choke artists. Is that fair to call the Raptors that? Early on, when we looked at Lowry and DeRozan, we called them chokers, right? One of the things that I've talked about in years past is that Lowry and DeRozan are not superstars. They're all-stars on their best days. They're not even high-end all-stars. They're like low-end all-stars. So they're not Wade. They're not Magic. They're not Bird. They're not Parker from the Spurs. They're not Ginobili from the Spurs. Okay? Ginobili, way better than those two guys in his heyday. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that they were chokers. It's that they weren't good enough to get deep into the playoffs and win a championship because they had two nice all-stars leading their team. And then Masai Ujiri finally figured it out and says, I need a dog. I need a number one guy. And when they got it, they won a championship. And so now you're hoping that Siakam or OG turn into that guy, okay? They haven't yet. They're pretty damn good. Siakam has got a lot of talent, so does OG. We already know what Lowry is. Lowry is a solid, all-star type player, but he's not going to carry your team. He's not a number one. So I think it was an unfair label that Toronto had for many years. And what I think you have to respect is that they won what they were supposed to win. They got to where they were supposed to go. And then when they finally added that superstar to a great complementary team, they got over the hump. Now we're going to find out, minus the stud, can they develop their own stud? And that's what we're going to find out, in the next year or two with Siakam and OG. If those guys don't become that guy, then they will be the team that'll be really good, and then they'll run out of gas in the playoffs because they won't have enough to get over the hump, because as the teams whittle down, you are now going to be facing a superstar on the other end. Can you match it? Last year they could because they had the superstar. This year they don't. So I think it's an unfair label for the Toronto Raptors. That's my opinion, of course. Clifton Wellman is in the house. Thank you, sir. George Albanese is in. Love you, man, but pink just isn't for you, bud. Okay, bro. I mean, I'm secure, man. I'm good. It's all right.
Only real men can wear pink.
I mean, it's just, I'm not worried about that, bro. These are the colors, and I love them, by the way. In fact, my favorite jersey is one that I have that's all white, that it has all the logos indented, and it has the pink stripes and the logo here. And it is a phenomenal jersey, dude. Love that jersey.
That jersey looks designer.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It's so awesome. So awesome. Alex says, why are idiots saying we should sign Earl Thomas? Well, because that's what happens. NorCal is in the house. Good morning, Big O and Bill. All you badass listeners. Puff, puff, still can't give.
I really like Bud.
There you go. Herman Cueva says, hola, amigos. Have a great week. Laura Cratch says, hey, NorCal. I lived in Nevada City and Z Ridge. Magic now in Sedona. There you go. We've got our listeners connecting with our listeners. It's a beautiful thing. It's just a family. I love it. Miami Kid J says, Big O, I heard Byron Jones keeps getting roasted in training camp. I told you, man, the Dolphins overpaid for this kid. I saw it firsthand in Dallas. Brother, I don't know when they're playing games. Did they play a game that counted? I'm sorry. Did they play a game that counted? And he got burned in Dallas? He's got one of the better completion percentages. Not exactly sure what you're talking about. So, again, whatever. I don't react one way or another to a bunch of guys practicing that aren't tackling and haven't had an entire offseason. I'm not worried about that now, bro. I'll check back with me in the regular season, okay? Look, the writers have to write something. You know what I mean? They're there. They're there all day. They got to write something, okay? It's like when Omar goes, what was it that, Rosen's decision-making has improved and this and that, and it's like 3 days of practice, right? And I tweeted back to him, I said, you won't know if his decision-making has improved until there's a 300-pound man trying to rip his head off. Byron Jones is not playing for real right now. He's a veteran, dude. It's just, Noah has to prove. These young guys have to prove. Veterans are probably going through the motion at this point in time. Wait till the regular season starts, and if they're completing all kinds of passes on Byron Jones, then I'll give you props, and I'll say you were right. It was a bad signing. But they don't complete. Those are the facts. He doesn't get a lot of interceptions, but he doesn't allow a lot of completions either. So, whatever. Whitesnake show a blip Blurry on my YouTube. Tommy Aldridge, I expect Blurry still today. He's always great. Mark, I saw it. I could not watch the concert. I watched the first 10 minutes. I tried. The audio wasn't good enough. The video wasn't good enough. I'm with you 1,000%. I was so disappointed. That was the only disappointment I had this weekend was the Whitesnake video.
That was almost a crime.
Yeah.
To sell that lineup. And then for it to be that way,
it was, man, what a shame. I mean, if you're going to air a concert, air one that has good audio and video, dude. Come on, man. If it doesn't, then don't, because I personally couldn't watch it, and I love Whitesnake, and that band right there in itself those are all Hall of Famers, pretty much, man. So I'm with you there, man. It was terrible. I wish it would have been better. Sorry. Flipside Fishing is in. James Roman says, morning to Bill and the chat board from Tampico, Mexico. Let's see. Agree, Big O. The Heat are the gold standard in South Florida and how a franchise should operate. Good to see our Dolphins are well on their way to operating things the same way. Damn right. Dolphins are headed in the right direction. Alexa says, hey, Big O, have you heard about the special protective disinfecting lighting system the Finns are using at their facilities? Why hasn't every pro franchise adopted this system? Go Dolphins. Alexis, I saw all the different things that they're doing, and hopefully it'll help out. But again, I still, when they start hitting, when they start traveling and all of that, we're going to start to see if this thing actually can last. Because, this is, positivity rates are going down, right? But again, I'm not going to overreact. Again, I'm not going to do what we did last time because I'm already hearing it from people. Oh, positivity rates, let's open everything up. No, dude, let's bring it way down. Let's stay on this course for a long time because all it'll be is a little bit of a wave and then it'll go back up again. You know what I mean? And that's all. It'll be a peak and a valley, and that's what we did last time. We didn't hit the valley all the way down. We kind of went halfway, and then we went back up again. Now we're going back down again, but we're not there yet. The death rate is still way too high, okay? We're still losing 1,000 a day pretty much. Sundays and Mondays, the numbers go way down, okay? Yesterday was a good number considering the other weeks, the other days. It was like in the 400s instead of 900, 1,000, 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. That's depressing when it gets like that. So we got to get it down to 0, and at least we're trending in that direction, but the death rate is still – now, the death rate is the last thing that starts to tail off, but we're still – look at the cases. It's still 40-something, 50-something, 60,000 throughout the week, and we've got to knock that down. When we start seeing – the positivity rate go way down, the cases go way down, then we can start to feel good. But we're not even close to it right now.
Take a page from New Zealand, man.
Yeah.
When you stick to your guns and you crush it, you come out on the right side of this.
Yes, and then we could get our lives back. Big O, I remember you saying you don't believe the hype with Nunn. You did say he may hit a rookie wall, and here it is. It's just that's what it is. It's just a rookie wall. And he'll figure it out. But what I love is that the coach did not stick with it. You know what I mean? And he made the change that he had to make. Whenever Whiteside is on your team, you always have a chance to lose. Amen. Pat in Asheville says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but unless there's an outbreak in the NFL in the next week or so, we're going to see the NFL season start. I'm surprised on how well they've done so far, knocking on some wood. Yeah, I'm with you. Again, remember why I told you I gave them a slim shot. These are grown men. They have bills. Okay? Bill and I have worked all the way through the pandemic. Why? We got bills, bro. So, and any of you would work, if you could work through the pandemic, you would too, right? Because you have bills, right? College, I give it no shot. College will get screwed. You can forget about that. They're having parties all over the place in every campus. UM's having parties. It's not going to happen. College, I can't see it. Hank Goldberg's left nut says, Big O, missed some shows recently due to work, but have you addressed how X is beginning to seem like a completely lost cause? So frustrating. How much dead money is that? Well, let's wait till we know he can't play anymore, then we know it's dead money. Meanwhile, he's coming back from a knee injury. He doesn't need to prove anything. He's coming back from COVID and the knee. They're now bringing him along slowly so they can get his conditioning right. There's no hurry to bring X back. I'm not sure why are we dying to see X? You know he can play. So let them bring him back at the pace they need to bring him back. Now, is he looking injury prone? Hell's to the yeah. That's why I told you that if he can play a whole year, that's why I told you can't trade him. You know, remember all the people are asking me, oh, let's move him. And I'm like, how do you expect to move him now? He's injured. He had a domestic issue, and you paid him a boatload of money. You're not moving him. You wait a year, so he plays his ass off this year. He has a great year, you hope. Then next year, you take less of a hit in the cap, and you can move him. Because now he's had a great year. He's been healthy. He's removed from that domestic issue. Somebody that's a corner away may trade for him. But right now, you won't get anything for him that's good. So you're better off keeping him because he's a shutdown corner when healthy. You know what I mean? But what are you going to do? You can't predict that a knee is going to go bad on a guy, that he's going to have a chronic knee issue. You know what I mean? So let's, again, pump the brakes on Tua. Pump the brakes on good or bad at Dolphins camp. Pump the brakes on Byron Jones. Pump the brakes on X, okay? Let's actually wait till, like, there's real games going on. They're really hitting and really tackling, you know what I mean? Let's wait till they're actually playing real opponents and not being really careful until they get to the regular season because they're afraid of losing players to COVID or injuries or whatever. You know, this eggshell type practice or preparation for the season is not what we need to look at. We got to wait till the regular season starts because that's when the pre-regular season starts. Because those first few games are going to be a disaster in this league. Everybody. Okay? Some people had too high expectations for Tua coming into the season. I'm noticing how disappointed because the reality is he's a rookie and he's still learning, which is okay. But, Anthony, you have common sense and you're level-headed about it. Okay? John Elway threw a bunch of interceptions early on. Peyton Manning threw a bunch of interceptions early on. Those guys struggled too early on. Plenty of quarterbacks. Drew Brees didn't do anything for 3 years. Okay? So let's not make it sound like only one quarterback struggles early on. Most of them struggle early on. Okay? Thought of this, says Josh. Fans will be allowed at Hard Rock Stadium this season for the Dolphins, although of this, or okay. I saw the 13,000. At least that's their plan. That's a nice announcement. Let's wait till we find out what's going on with Corona and all of that. I know that it has to have been driven by the mayor, and I know we've got whatever the governor does, the mayor follow. Well, whatever the president does, the governor does, and the mayor follows. So whatever. We'll see. That's, to me, it's a non-story. 13,000 or not or whatever. I'll wait till you get to that day, and then it'll be a story. For now, it's just a bunch of hot air. No big deal. Do you think Rousseau would be a risky pick for the Finns in the draft if he only played 1 year at UM? Yes. I wouldn't spend a first-round pick on the kid. Okay, I know he's a first-round pick, but I'm not spending a first-round pick on a one-year wonder. I'm just not. Too many fail. And I know he's talented, but I know we got the blind UM fans. And, everything UM turns out great, right? Like Willie Williams, right? Everything turns out great, right? You're going to be the next coming when you get to the league, right? Because Teal Green was going to be great. And there he goes. I mean, let's just relax here. Let's, when it comes to Rousseau, first of all, we're not even in the draft. So we'll talk about, we have plenty of time to talk about the draft. Big O, what do you think about the Dolphins allowing 13,000 fans? Oh, I just said it already. No big deal. Happy birthday to a Finn fan who has raised over 20,000 for the DCC and rides, the 100-mile ride. Happy birthday, Griff Gall. Happy birthday, Griff Gall from Toledo, Ohio. Let's see. Big O, the NFL has had some false positive tests due to contamination in labs. I'll put links in the chat. I saw it already. I saw all of that, and I saw the false positives. 77 of them. I saw false positives, and apparently there was a contamination, and that's why the false positives happened. I would not be using that lab ever. They use 5 labs. I would now go down to 4 and go find another one if you need a 5th. You would lose your right to do anything for me if you contaminated 77 samples. Let's take a quick break. Don't forget, Toyota of Hollywood, a proud sponsor of our program, will be broadcasting live there on Thursday, 1841 North State Road 7. Listen, number one volume sales dealership when it comes to Toyotas in the Southeast United States now, 6 years in a row. Go see Steve Ostrov, Herbie Lopez, Gary Thompson and company. They will get you, they will take care of you. Go see Lori Rodriguez, the lovely and talented one. She's awesome. Joel Rubio, Rick, Azric Smith, some great people out there at Toyota of Hollywood.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Nice flick there, attempted by Sebastian Mendez, but it's given it away. And now Carranza will touch it on here for Pizarro. Will overlap beyond him as he charges Pizarro. Now into the feet of Carranza, and the penalty of Carranza! And it's the opening goal for Inter Miami. And Carranza has opened his account for the club. They needed this restart, and now Miami in front by a 1-0 on 13 minutes.
Absolutely brilliant execution of Pizarro driving. Carranza understanding he's got to run off his shoulders on the outside and just wait for that simple through ball. Great first touch by Carranza. Boom! Near post, 1-0. What a great start.
Now Pizarro dinking into the path here of Ulloa, appeals for handball. Now Ulloa outside of the boot, plays it out wide to Ben Sweat on the left-hand side. Sweat will measure the crosses in towards Carranza, who's won the header. It's a cross goal, and it's a second for Inter Miami. Carranza has announced his arrival to the club with 2 goals in the opening 23 minutes, and Miami have their lead back. It's Inter Miami 2, Orlando City 1.
We just talked about overlapping fullbacks, and that's Ben Sweat's greatest quality. He can serve a ball if you get him in good positions. Victor Yola finds him. He's got time and space to get the ball far post, and then Carranza goes against the grain, back far post again. Gay golazo, brilliant goal, no chance for the goalkeeper.
Now Pizarro carrying it towards the middle. His options available. Figal making that run forward. In the end, Pizarro will pick out Morgan on the right-hand side. Now here is Morgan, who slided in towards Figal. Moutinho was tracking back. Nice back heel there from Figal into Morgan. Now Pizarro, the heart of the penalty area, picks out the bottom right-hand corner, and Inter Miami have a 2-goal lead. Pizarro's second for the club, rather his third, as Pizarro climbing into the stands, celebrating with the cardboard cutouts. Inter Miami 3, Orlando City 1.
And Pizarro, the engineer of this goal, starts at left side, keeps possession, finds the switch of attack on the other side with Figal making the overlapping run, Morgan finding Figal, the cross coming in, and now Pizarro's going inside of the foot, Thank you very much. 3-1. What a positive start in that second half to go for the third goal. The potential killer.
This is the Big O Show.
It was a beautiful thing. Saturday night, watching Inter Miami defeat Orlando City. They've got Atlanta on Wednesday, so looking forward to that one. And then they play again on Sunday. So they play 6 games in 22 days. 6 games in 22 days, dude. That's one hell of a ride right now for Inter Miami. You just heard there Chris Whittingham and Thomas Rongen had a blast on Saturday night. By the way, you can our link is on my Twitter page if you want to lock it in and bookmark it, so you can listen to the games. Obviously, you can watch them on Channel 4. Ray Hudson and company doing their thing. Andres Cordero, Kalen Kyle. Our broadcast team is amazing. TV and radio. On the radio side, Chris Whittingham. We got Thomas Rongen, the legend, and Fernando Fiori. Then, obviously, pre-half and post, myself and Alex Donald do it throughout the match. We have some fun. So if you can, check us out and listen to the games. And we've got more coming. We'll be able soon to take phone calls and all that good stuff on the post-game shows and everything else that's coming with all of that. So looking forward to it, man. It's right around the corner. Gus 1388 giving us a little love on the super chat. Is it? No sound? No plug-in? Is it? What do we got? Nothing? We got no horn for you? I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I guess Bill didn't connect the horn today. But we'll try to we'll get it in there for you, Gus. He says Dolphins planning on having fans at home games against the Bills. This will not end well. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's 20% of the stadium, 13,000. Okay, it depends on how separate you have them, right? It's not like they're all going to be in one section. So they're all going to be separated all over the place, and they're only going to be in the groups that they came in, or 1 or 2 people, whatever it is. I think the biggest problem for the Dolphins is the 13,000 that you decide, are first to get in. And I would imagine it would go by the 13,000 oldest season ticket members, right? I mean, that's what I would do. Now, I don't know if money will be involved because obviously those that maybe donated or, pay more a year, suites or whatever. I don't know how they're going to handle this. I have no idea. They can't do the suites thing because then you're inside. So I don't think they want that. I think they can only sell the outside. So the 13,000 will be outside. I would imagine it's not about the suites. I think those suites will probably be locked, unless it's Stephen Ross. And even that, no, you know what? Because Jorge Mas was in the stands for the game. The entire Moss family was there, dude. It was funny because you look down, and it was Moss jerseys all over. It was cool.
Yeah, you know what the press box does?
Yeah.
Nothing. They don't cheer. They barely watch the game. Okay, let's be honest. You want the fans to sit in the nosebleeds.
You sound is coming off. Low audio, no audio now. You are back. Fire Bill, low. Okay, yeah, Bill's not having a great day today. No, he's kind of struggling today. Let's see. Do we have a siren for Gus? No. Anything happen now, bro? What's going on? It's playing. It's playing. Not connected on your board there? I don't know. You tell me.
Did you mess with the wires? I've got the one that's got the horn here. You want that? Here.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so we'll try to get it done and fix it and see. He's got the other horn anyways from the road. Audio crappy still? Still bad audio? All right, so I don't know what's going on with the audio now. So I can't. It sounds good here. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it sounds terrible, right?
I don't know. It might be you guys because I turned on YouTube right now, and it sounds fine. Audio crappy still. There, it's there. Still bad audio. What it is? All right, so I don't know what's going on with the audio now. You hear it? I don't know. All right. I don't know what to tell you guys, but it sounds all right. I guess it got better now. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. It's fine now. Good for now. It's okay now. Okay. All right. Anyway, so good stuff this weekend watching Inter win 3-2, watching the Heat win also in the process. Dolphins. They are getting ready, obviously, for the regular season. What's it called? Gus goes, I got the horn, guys. Thanks. There you go. All right, you got it, my brother. I'm sorry. So Dolphins getting ready for the regular season, and one of you just mentioned that you're surprised that they've been able to, get this far. I am too, in a way. I am surprised that with the pandemic they've been able to get this far because you always figure there's a knucklehead or two that kind of ruin things for other people. And I wonder if they're policing their locker rooms now, right? Because the veterans must be, if you watch Hard Knocks and you watch, was it Whitworth, I'm sorry, the lineman who was like 38 or whatever. And he had corona and everything. His whole family got it because his nanny ended up bringing it to the house. And funny story, and he says after the nanny stayed with her husband with them in the same house, and they all quarantined because they were all exposed. So then they all quarantined together, and then they all got, out of the whole corona thing. So it's funny that you see what's going on, and I would imagine that guys like Whitworth, all those kind of guys around the league, are probably policing the locker rooms and policing young guys and telling them, hey, listen, I get it. You want to party, you want to go have fun, but if you get corona, you're going to bring it here. You're going to ruin your chance at a gig. So if you think it's worth going out with that Instagram model or go to the club and go get drunk that night and then get COVID and bring it back to us and infect other people that could be infecting their family members, then you're carrying a lot of responsibility. And that's kind of the interesting dynamics to all of this, because football players, and especially in training camp, you don't have a lot of opportunities anymore. If you watch Hard Knocks, the Eckler situation, you saw it in this episode this week where the coach was like, we would have never found out about Austin Eckler in this season. Why? Because Austin Eckler didn't do anything for them until the fourth preseason game. The fourth preseason game. That's when he actually ran the ball well, broke a couple tackles, busted out, and then opened their eyes like, maybe this kid's got a little some, and they kept him, and the rest is history. And he's a small school guy and all that, undrafted, guys that this is the guy that needs the entire offseason, all the mini camps, needs the training camp, needs all of the preseason games. In fact, if you heard it in Hard Knocks, Eckler was telling the big running back that came in overweight, I forgot the kid's name now, he was telling, man, I wasn't getting any reps. I would only get 2 or 3 reps in every practice. But I had to make those the best reps possible, is what he was trying. He was kind of trying to pick up the youngster, because the youngster is getting very little opportunities, like a lot of guys. A lot of these small school guys, undrafted guys, they're not going to get looks. So if you're not going to get reps, are you also going to F it up by doing stupid things off the field? No. And so that's why I think we're not seeing an explosion in the NFL in cases. These guys are doing what you and I do every single day, right? We mask up when we leave our houses. We mask up if we have to go into the supermarket. We mask up whenever we do things that we might be close to other people. And most of us are smart. We're staying away from big crowds. We know there's a big crowd. We don't want to be there. So I would imagine that a lot of NFL players are doing the same thing right now. And that's why we're not seeing a rise in cases in the NFL. Because it's proven, man. If you social distance, if you wash your hands a bunch of times a day, you just got to be conscious. Like, I was doing the broadcast, right? And I'm in a room with a couple of other guys, and we're all masked up throughout the entire time. And everything's been wiped down and cleaned and everything, right? Just like Bill does every time we go out on the road. Bill grabs the wipies and he wipes everything down, right? Even though it's only me and him that are touching everything anyway, so it's not really anybody else handling it, but we wipe it all down, right? And while you're there and you're doing your broadcast, I've got my mask on, so you really don't touch your face nearly as much as you do normally, right? And so what I remember is that I went to the bathroom, I think, 2 times that night. One during the broadcast and one after the broadcast. And what did I do both times? I washed my hands. Even though I really didn't shake hands with anybody, we only elbowed, you know what I mean? Even when we scored the goal, we were like elbowing. We weren't really, high-fiving and all that stuff like you normally would do, right? But if you remember just to follow basic common sense, okay? Use your hand sanitizer. If you don't have soap next to you, go to the bathroom, go wash your hands, stay away from people. You got a shot. And I think football players are doing that. That's why the pros, that's why I gave the pros a shot. I don't think college will do that. Because college, kids are kids, man. Put yourself in that position. I still make dumb decisions and I'm 53. Can you imagine the stupid decisions I was making at 18 and 20? My Lord, embarrassing. So, yeah, it's I can see that being a major problem. But that's why, as you see them get prepared, and we don't see a lot of cases, it becomes flukish because you and I could get it, and we could do all the right things and still get it. Because you might slip up for 1 second, and that's all it takes. And then all of a sudden you picked it up. Let's see. Did you get the lizard making holes in your house? Jack, no, I did not get the lizard making holes in my house. I tweeted out a picture on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram about a lizard that we have. But the prevailing thought was it doesn't damage anything, and it does eat a lot of insects. So apparently it eats roaches and flies and all kinds of stuff. So it's not the kind of, there's that one type of, I don't know what it is, iguana, lizard, whatever the hell you want to call it. Though there's one that can like tear up like your concrete and stuff. Okay? There's one that like can dig up all kinds of crap. This one is not that one. It makes some holes, but it's not anything, earth-shattering. And I know it's going to grow, but not to the point that it's going to be a nuisance and it's going to cause real damage to us. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I would tell you that, it just, no, did not do anything to the lizard. We left it. The monster is going to grow. If I were Adam Gase, everyone would be back. Flores commands respect. No, if I were Adam Gase, everyone would be sick. Flores commands respect. Yes, yeah. I mean, Gase is Gase, dude. What are you going to do? The guy's just a piece of crap. NorCal says, my audio sounds good, Big O. Thank you, sir. I have a solution for the lizard in your house. Treat it like Minka Fitzpatrick and try to utilize it in the best of its ability. He should try to get out of there real quick. Maybe get his mom involved. Ian says, we have 2 dogs and 1 cat. Get a cat. Lizards. Issues over. LOL. Yeah, but if I get a cat, I have 4 dogs, dude. If I get a cat, I have to get like a kitten. I can't get a cat. I have to get a kitten because it has to grow up with the dogs.
You don't want to kill lizards, man. They eat insects.
No, but there's certain lizards that are bad for your yard.
Yeah. For your dogs, yeah.
And for your yard. There's this one that can like tear up walls and stuff. Like it digs. I forgot which one it is, but I know that there's one like that because
you're talking about those ones out on golf courses that are small dinosaurs.
Well, they're here too.
Yeah.
They're here. They're all over the place.
Well, out here, yeah. Well, look how close you are to the Everglades.
I mean, they are all over the place, dude. You see lizards everywhere, bro.
Well, you also got you know what's the biggest problem for you? Because I used to have it in Springs. You're right by the canal.
Right.
They hang around that water.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Let's see. I see where Lamar Jackson, Marcus Peters return to practice. Lamar was dealing with a groin injury. Interesting. Okay. Oh, okay. It's just a commercial from the computer.
You want me to board up the commercial for you there, buddy?
Yeah. Definitely. I love that. That was good. You know what we should do? We should actually air Brian Flores' press conference. See if you can find that. And let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side since it's the bottom of the hour, and we'll. Huh?
I thought you had said.
No. Yeah. What's it called? We're gonna air Brian Flores' press conference. We'll give you our take on his press conference. If you haven't heard, he just got off the media a little while ago. So he addressed several issues with the team as the media was asking him questions. And we'll air that when we come back on the other side. Don't forget that Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, the finest Acura dealership on the planet. We've been broadcasting there for the last 10 years. They're celebrating their 12th anniversary. They've been dominating the Southeast United States for the last 10 years, selling more new Acuras than anybody else in the Southeast United States. That's why I want you to get on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business. No better Acura dealership in the world. And I should know because we've purchased 3 different Acuras there, man. We've got 2 in our home right now, 2 RDXs. My wife drives an RDX. My daughter drives an RDX. You can drive an RDX. Get on down to Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Brian Flores is next.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
right, we're back. We'll try and get this prepared for you and get the press conference for you here in a couple minutes if you want to get in. Man of 1,005 holds, thank you, sir, for a little super chat. Go ahead, fire it off because obviously it's not working. So fire off your own. No horn? No horn either? I don't hear any horn. No horn. Any horns? You're hornless today, bro. You're not. I think Bill watched the Whitesnake video like 8 times and it did some damage to him over the weekend. That's probably what it was. Anyway, if you want to get in, you can reach out to us on the YouTube chat board, of course, the super chat. Many ways to reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show, the email Orlando at BigORadioshow.com. That's the other way to get in on the program, and many ways to participate. Marlins back in action tonight, 6:05. Pablo Lopez, Austin Voth. Lopez is 2-1 with a 2.42 ERA. See if the boys can win. Nice catch by Lewis Brinson over the weekend. I'll give him that. Poor kid's batting 107, man. Wow. That is like I feel bad for him. I really do, because he it looks like he's completely overmatched at the plate. It's a shame, man. It really is. Because the kid obviously has some skill set, but man, that when it comes to the bat, that thing did not translate. If you want to watch a little football tonight, NYCFC takes on Columbus, and the NYCFC, by the way, is favored by 1.5 goals. They are plus 142. The over and under is 2.5 between NYCFC and Columbus. So I don't have an opinion on this one. I normally would tell you go over 2.5, but in this one it could be, Columbus is bad. There could be limited scoring here. I could see them being under 3. So it's kind of and New York City FC could win by 2 goals. But you know what? I'm not going to touch that game. Okay? I gave you already my picks on the NBA slate.
We got Flores for you.
All right, let's hear from Brian Flores. He addressed the Meteors. We will, like always, we'll pause if there's something I want to say and all that good stuff. And so we'll give you some stuff off of what he says, kind of decipher it all. You know what I mean? Without some of the desperation and the craziness that fans and sometimes media add to it. Go ahead, Bill. Fire it off.
Thank you, Coach. So on Saturday, there was a play where Preston Williams caught a touchdown pass down the sideline. It looked like the cornerback sat down over here in a zone and the safety didn't get over. What's supposed to happen on that play?
I'm not going to get into specifics on what's supposed to happen on a given offense, defense, or special teams play. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into a specific play. Was it a blown coverage? Was it not a blown coverage? Was it a mental error? What you guys see may be a little deceiving at times. So we'll just we'll leave it at that. There was a lot of pressure on the play with the ball had gotten off. What do you think about that part, Orlando? So that's kind of there's situations that come up like that in practice. In a game setting, what does that look like? But yeah, we got to do a better job defending the deep part of the field. But the offense executed and made a good throw and good catch.
Omar?
Coach, there's I'm sure you're aware of a lot of testing irregularities that I guess they stem from New Jersey. I'm not necessarily certain if they impact you, but how concerned are you that the testing is keeping the environment safe for you, your team? And also, with schools opening back up, I don't know about your kids in particularly, but are you concerned that there could be another wave of COVID outbreaks?
Well, I'm really concerned with, us, our team, and, the decisions that we're making in the building, outside of the building. I think if we do take the appropriate, distancing measures and wear the masks and make responsible choices, that's, again, like I've said, since day one, that's the best we can do. So it's up to us individually to make those smart decisions. As far as, the irregularities, over the weekend, look, the league, look, this is a moving target. I mean, we've talked about that since day one. I think the league has protocols in place they've got protocols in place, and basically what we do is just follow the protocols. I think that's what every team does, and I think if you do that, from a testing standpoint, you may lose a player for a day, but I think for the safety of the entire team organization, that's a small sacrifice, to make sure that everyone's safe and healthy. So I think from a protocol standpoint, the league's done a good job. It can be frustrating on a day-to-day basis, when a guy's out and it could be, an unconfirmed positive. But I think, we're proceeding with caution, as we should. I think we know how quickly this can spread. So I think we should use caution, and the league's kind of the protocols in place so that is the way it's done, and we're just following the protocols as a team and organization.
Now, let me tell you something. This is going to be a hell of a challenge because this is something we didn't think about, right? We're thinking about these guys hitting each other, sweaty, breathing on each other, tackling each other in meeting rooms, all that stuff where COVID could, can go from one person to another, because we all know it's, in fact, Usain Bolt just tested positive for coronavirus, which proves that the virus is also really fast because it can catch Bolt. But listen, you look at it, and this is a factor that we didn't think about. Remember, there is no bubble in the NFL. So players have to go back to their homes. How about those players that have kids and their kids are going to school? Oh, my Lord. That just raises it to another level that your kid, I mean, I don't know about you. I don't have kids at a young age anymore. I only have one. I have a daughter. Unless I have some other kids somewhere else that I don't know anything about, which I don't think that's the case. But I think last time I checked, I have one daughter, I think. Pretty sure of that. And she's old already. Not old like me, but old like she's not in school, like she's in college. So it's a whole different ballgame. She's doing everything virtual. But if I had a child that was in, the 12th grades, there's no way that they would go to school. No way. They would be virtual. They would learn virtually. Forget that, dude. And so can you imagine those that are sending their kids to school also? That's going to be a hell of a challenge to stay away from this coronavirus. All right, continue, Bill, please.
Hal? Hello, Brian. I'm sure that you didn't get as much of a look at Andrew Van Ginkel last season as you would have liked. But in the time that he was on the field, what did he show you that tells you that he might be able to contribute heavily this season on your defense?
Well, Andrew's a tough kid. He's got length. He's got some speed. I thought he did a solid job for us in the kicking game a year ago. Over the last 6 games of the season. He's a smart kid. It's very important to him. And he's improving and getting better. So, he'll hopefully get some opportunities. He'll get some opportunities definitely throughout training camp, and we'll see what happens when we get to the regular season. And he's improving. He's getting better, and I'm happy with where he is.
Cam?
Hey Flo, we all saw, I guess, last year how Preston got hurt, and I noticed, I guess, in the first couple practices he was taking punt return reps, and then he wasn't, I guess, in the days after. Were you guys on him as a punt returner? Is he still doing that, or is he done with that?
Well, I mean, anyone who can return punts, you know, we're gonna work him back there. Preston, obviously, with the injury a year ago. He's somebody we've kind of, you know, we're just trying to be, I don't want to say cautious. That's probably the wrong word, but we want to watch his reps and watch the amount of reps that we're putting on him. He's working hard. He wants to be out there. He wants to return every punt. He wants to go out there for every snap. If we didn't manage him, he'd be out there every play. So. This coming off a knee, we've got to manage him, which we've done. In the punt return, you know, as part of that management.
Now, look, he's answering everything like a coach. He's leaving it all out there, out in the open, because he has to. He has to lay that foundation that if you're on the Dolphins, you're a Dolphins football player. And if we need you here, we'll use you here. And if we need you there, we'll use you there. He's not going to tell the media what his real plan is for Preston Williams. But let me take a stab at all of this, okay? Let me just take a shot here, okay? I don't think the coach is using him at all at punt returns. The only reason Preston Williams will be out at punt returns is when the others are injured. And they are either injured and out, or not, or the one guy you have left that can punt return. You didn't activate him, unfortunately, for this game. The guys you were using got injured. You got to go use Preston for the moment. So what they're doing is they're giving Preston Williams reps as a punt returner just so he's fresh with the reps, with the routes that he has to, or the lanes he has to choose, the play that's designed, whatever it is. And that way he's familiar with it. But he's your starting wide receiver. He's a playmaker, okay? He is a guy that's going to be running routes on every single down. Last year, you were desperate. You had to find out what you had in him, and you found out already what he is. And what he isn't, he's not a great punt returner. He's a serviceable punt returner, okay? Because he's not shifty enough. He's not quick enough to change directions and then from flat-footed out to just have incredible burst. He's a big guy that takes a little while to get those strides going. And when he does, he can pull away from you. He's got some speed. But I don't believe at all that Preston Williams will be your punt returner unless it's out of desperation. So what you see out there right now is just a coach and a special teams coach saying, let's plan for the worst case scenario. We don't want Preston Williams out there, but if we have no choice because we've got nobody else, he has the experience, let's bring him in. He's got the hands. He'll possess the ball for us. He's a big body, and at least we'll maintain possession, and we don't have to put somebody out there that's all wide-eyed, never done it before, and then bobbles, and you know what I mean? Preston will not do that. There you go. For those of you that are old Dolphin fans, there was a kid by the name of Miller that was a returner. Scott Miller, I think his first name was Scott. Sucked as a returner, okay? Shuley loved him and used him because he wouldn't drop the ball. And Shula told you that much, too. He goes, I don't really have the guy I need, but I know that he is sure-handed. And we hated him as a Doll fan. I think it was Scott Miller. I know it was Miller. But what we hated was you had no shot at getting a big return from the guy.
White kid. That averaged like 2 or 3 yards of punt return.
White kid, brown hair that would come out of
I remember him.
Yeah, Miller. And so, young fans, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But this is what happens when you're 50-something, that you've seen everything. And so Miller was a kid that was like that, in a way. And I don't want to diss Preston to that extreme, but I'm not expecting Preston Williams to run a lot of punts back for a touchdown. Okay, he's a big guy. He's an easy target. You know what I'm saying? On special teams. All right, let's continue with Mr. Flores.
Xavien?
Coach, how are you? I wanted to ask, how was the team's time at the stadium on Sunday? I guess what was the process there with having your walkthrough in the stadium? How did you feel like your players responded to being in the stadium for the first time?
It's good. I think we need to, a lot of guys, we had a lot of new players. They've never been there. They've never seen our locker room. They don't know where the training room is or where the equipment room is or, where the showers are or, how we walk out to the tunnel. I think it's good to get out there. It's our home stadium. So where's the game clock? Where's the 40-second clock? I think those things, as a coaching staff to check the headsets and, do a dry run from that standpoint. I thought it was good. I thought we got a lot out of it. And, it's always good to go to the stadium and, get on the grass there and, get a feel for where we're going to actually, play the games that we're preparing, in so much for. And we're putting all this hard work and energy into these practices. It's good to get out there and, even in a walkthrough setting to kind of feel the atmosphere of being at the stadium. So I think we got a lot out of it.
Hey, wait a minute, Bill. Bill, did the coach
ask you about Nate Holley?
You gotta pause there a second. Did he just say get on the grass? Is that what the coach just said?
I really like Bud.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
A few teams that were in on him. Did you make a sales pitch? Were you part of the recruiting? And what position is he going to play for the Dolphins?
Nate's obviously had a good year in the CFL a year ago. He's fast. He's tough. As far as positions, right now we're just going to get him out there probably more in a safety role, safety/special team, but he's played some linebacker. So, look, his role is going to be what he makes it. Like we tell all the players on the team. I don't consider myself I'm not a really good recruiter. So that's not, that wasn't my role in this. But, he came in, he worked out, he did a good job on the workout. I think, an opportunity to play on any NFL teams it's a privilege. So he took the opportunity and, we're happy to have him.
Nate Holley signed, and he's a special teams guy, a safety. It doesn't sound to me, when you listen to that conversation, they don't really expect him to become a impactful player at linebacker almost. You see the safety part, you see the special teams part. So this is a guy that's probably an undersized linebacker, and that's why they're going to play him probably more strong safety also, is what I kind of get the feeling, because if you're going from linebacker, I doubt you're going to free, and you're going to be playing center field. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably more of a strong safety type, special teamer, and the difference with Nate Holley nowadays, I know Sam Eguavoen has done a decent job, and maybe he's proven to be a capable backup maybe at best. But the beauty is that as Dolphin fans, we have Cam Wake, right, and we have Mark Dixon. We have two guys that you unearthed from CFL, and those are guys that gave you, Cam Wake obviously had a Ring of Honor type run pretty much with the Miami Dolphins. And Mark Dixon is not going to make the Ring of Honor, but he is a guy that I think we all have a deep, deep, deep appreciation for because of the short career he had in Miami, but it was an impactful career here. One of my favorite dudes of all time is Mark Dixon. Just a great dude, not because he was like this electrifying type of personality or anything like that, but he was such a good player, a great teammate, right? A guy that sacrificed for the team. He excelled at guard, and one year they threw him out to tackle when Richmond Webb left. And so when we hear of the Nate Holleys and the Sam Eguavoens, and you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you remember that, hey, the CFL can produce a couple guys that could turn out to be, real gems for you. So I'm not saying Nate Holley will be, but you never know. And with the CFL canceling their season this year, there's got to be somebody that's there that could translate to the NFL and help out. It might be Nate Holley. You never know. So that's a guy I definitely keep my eye on, because every time we get a guy from the CFL, I keep an eye on him, because just in case he might be the next Mark Dixon, or how about this, next Cam Wake. That would be amazing.
Hi, Coach. How often does Ryan Fitzpatrick do something that makes you forget that he's 37 years old?
Probably every day. I'm 39, and it's hard to think that I could go out there and, get in a huddle and run around with these guys, as much as he does. So, it's a testament to the way he works in the off season, and his work ethic, and his talent and ability. So he's a good player. He's a competitive guy. He's smart, and he just has a good feel for the quarterback position. He's got good leadership. So probably every day.
We got time for a couple more. Joe Shad.
Good morning, Flo. We saw X working on the side the other day. I was wondering how he came out of that, how he's doing.
Well, obviously, X, he was out. We just got him back off the, back into the building. So he's just working his way back. I mean, it's early. So just, from a conditioning standpoint, getting your legs back, it's very early. So we're just going to keep, try to progress this, one day at a time. And when we feel, or if we feel like he's ready, then we'll make a transaction. But that conversation's, myself, Chris, Brandon, the coaching staff, the training staff, the strength and conditioning staff, just to kind of see where he's at from a conditioning standpoint, from a health standpoint. Hopefully get him back as soon as possible.
There you go. Look, there's too much. We look too much into this Tua thing. We overanalyze it. Oh my God, he's struggling, and he's a rookie. He has had no offseason. Relax. X has had no offseason. Okay, and he's coming back from knee injury, and the dude picked up COVID. There's no rush to get X on the field to practice. Okay? You just need him to get conditioned, make sure his knee's fine, and then get him out there on the field for a game. And that's it. I'm not worried about X in any other way, shape, or form. And I'm not going to overreact. I know he's had several knee scopes and all that. I get it. It's been an issue for him. And it's something that you can't predict. You just never know. It's not like he came in and he was, oh, no, this guy's got chronic knee issues. That wasn't the case. It's just something that's developed now as a player. Hey, look, not everybody is built to be in the NFL. In fact, most human bodies are not built to be in the NFL. So the fact that they break down is almost normal. When they don't break down, it is freakish. Okay? And let's wait till he actually takes the field. Or let's wait till he can't take the field. But right now, there's not any setbacks. It's COVID and rehab. It's not like, oh no, he needed another scope. Oh no, he's limping still. Oh no, that's not the case. So let's just relax a little bit. Give it some time. Go ahead, Bill.
All right, last question, Ruthie.
You kind of answered my question a little bit with Fitzy, but you kind of got a feel last week for what practice looks like when he's on the field versus what practice looks like when he's not on the field. What do you notice about the rest of the guys and the players when he's not out there compared to when he is?
I don't want to, dive too deep into, the one day where Fitz wasn't here and, what it looks like with or without a guy. I think, there's 11 guys on the field. That's something we talk about. We need 11 guys doing that, taking care of their responsibility, communicating, trying to execute at a high level, not dropping the football, making sure we get our quarterback center exchange. So, regardless of who the quarterback is, whether it's Fitz, whether it's Josh, whether it's Tua. There's 10 other guys on the field who have to handle their responsibilities. So, I don't want to play, I don't want to go too or dive too deep into what it looks like with Fitz versus someone else. This isn't a one-man show. So it's the responsibility of the players to kind of pick up the slack if somebody's, out. And look, it's a pandemic, so guys could be out, if we're going to say, hey, and this is for any team. If one guy's out, one guy's being out means that, we're going to fall apart, then, it's going to be a long season, not just for us, but for a lot of teams. So I don't think anybody's taking that approach, and we're not taking that approach with our team either, to include myself, coaches, players. We got to be ready for the next guy to step up and perform, because we're going to need everybody in 2020.
There you go.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, there you go. That is Coach Flores, and I got to tell you something. He's a smart dude. He understands that if he answers Ruthie Polinsky's question, and the way maybe Ruthie was hoping, or the writers were hoping, or anybody in the media, to add some juicy comments to it, like Coach says team's in trouble when Fitz doesn't play. That's what would happen in that headline. And he's not going, and you notice how he said what I said, that he's not going to overreact about one day that Fitz wasn't around. Because a couple of hours of somebody not being at practice, and a third-year player that's a second year in a new system, and a rookie, and two guys that have not turned the corner yet, and they're supposed to be seamless, and they're supposed to pick up where Fitz left off when they don't have a fraction of his experience. It's ridiculous. That's why I did not get crazy at all of this and what's it called, in going overboard. Oh my God, the Tua didn't look good and the Josh didn't look good and all. Give me a break, dude. It's one stinking practice with no off season with any of these guys. Give it some time. None of this happens overnight. Raekwon Davis is not going to develop overnight into a monster. It's going to take him a while, and hopefully he gets there. Hey, Wilkins didn't start off strong last year. As the season went on, Christian Wilkins got better. I'm expecting actually a big leap from him this year after what I saw at the end of last year. I think he's going to be a heck of a player this year. You know what I mean? But whether it's Noah's going to go out there and he's probably going to show you some flashes. He's going to make a bunch of mistakes. He's a first-round pick. I don't think people, Pat Surtain did not get on the field the first year. He struggled. I was there. I covered him. So this is something that's not out of, the norm. And Coach has been around long enough to not get baited by questions, right? And then two, to know that you have psychologically, you are working on 80 players right now. And the last thing you want to do is demean anybody or put them at a point that they feel like they are a non-factor and they've got no shot. And that's what you would do with answering that question. Say, yeah, no, we really struggled without Fitz. Our team really was lost. And he wasn't going to do that. And that was really smart on his part. Big O, how was Jeff Ulenek? Nice guy. That was a long time ago. Ulenek was like Ulenek was like at the end of his run was the beginning of my run. Because I want to say he ended in the early 90s. That's exactly when I started radio, in 91. So, yeah, it's kind of like I barely saw Jeff Ulenek. That was towards the end of his career. And then he went on to the Saints, I think, and Washington. But nice guy. Nice guy. By the way, did you send that in? Did Ulenek come from the CFL? Because I don't remember, actually. I don't think he did, but I would have to take your word for it. I think he's a Buckeye, if I remember correctly. I think he's an Ohio State kid. But I don't know. Did he go to the Did you bring that up because he went to the CFL and then came to Miami? I don't even remember that now. I can't even remember whenever the hell they picked him up. Okay, which was a long time ago now. I don't even remember anymore. Somebody would have to look it up and tell me what the hell happened. I thought he was like a late-round draft pick or a free agency. But maybe you sent it in because Super Boom Shack, do you know if he was in the CFL or something? I don't remember. Ian says, Coach Flores is just built for this S. He will captain this ship for years to come. I certainly hope so, my man. I certainly hope so. Super Boom says, not sure. Mark Dixon made me think of Ulenek. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Ulenek replaced Stevenson. Tough gig. Yeah, no, I remember. No, Ulenek played well, dude. Played well. He had a good career in the NFL, man. Big O, I know it's early. I don't know what else. Jose, you got to finish out the sentence in order for me to answer it. David says, I can't name two memorable plays from Scott Miller in his half-dozen years with the Fins in the 80s. Was always shocked that he had such sticking power when wide receivers like Fred Banks and Pruitt had short careers. Yeah, but wait a minute. Hold on, bro. You blew it. Pruitt did not belong. I just answered your question. That was his nickname in our neighborhood. James, you blew it, Pruitt. That guy had... I'll take Scott Miller over James, you blew it, Pruitt, because James, you blew it, Pruitt had all the talent in the world. But damn, he dropped balls like crazy. Scott Miller had very little talent, but didn't drop a damn thing. So I understood what Shula was saying. If I can't get a great returner, at least I'm going to get a guy that can catch the ball and I'm not going to lose a possession. I get what he was doing. I understand. You know, punt returning is, man, that's a bitch. You're catching in traffic. You've got to be shifty. You got to make quick decisions, man, because they are coming at you. And, brother, and in the day that those guys were playing, forget Halo, they were ready to knock the crap out of you every single time. Halo. No freaking Halo in those days. So, yeah. So I kind of, you blew it, Pruitt. I'm so happy that Stephen Ross finally has a grasp on how to run the Dolphins properly and the team. The stadium is awesome, and the team is up and coming. Yep. Well, NorCal, he figured it out. Let me hire and get the F out of the way. Okay? I'm not deciding on who the coach is. I'm not going to say who I like and all that. And so, yeah, he's a hell of an owner, bro. He spends a ton of money. I don't want Stephen Ross to go anywhere. I just want them to win. That's all he needs is winning. Flores was trained by the best question Dodger in the NFL. Yep. You're right about that. Big O, the secret treasure is buried in the... I like it, Pat. You're following my man Jose's lead. You just didn't finish it. I got you. Jose says, could this draft potentially be one of the best of the Dolphins? Well, my brother, you got, 12, 13 picks. You got a shot at it being one of the best. If you make good picks, yeah, this could be one of the best. Well, listen, if they're going to be a champion down the line, this draft that just happened in 2020 must be one of the greatest Dolphin drafts of all time. Because how many times can you set yourself up with that many picks? Not many. So the few times it happens, and by the way, high picks, okay? So when it does happen, you need to hit some home runs, dude. So yes, let's hope so. I'm hoping this is the greatest Dolphin draft ever. How about that? Not just a great draft. I hope it's the greatest Dolphin draft ever. It's the kind of draft that 4 years from now, Chris Greer is sitting in a room kicking himself in the ass going, who do I keep? Who do I keep? Who do I let go? Holy crap. That kind of stuff. That you can't sign them all. You're going to have to let some go, get some compensatory picks, that kind of stuff. Okay? Jose goes, Pruitt era malísimo. You are right, sir. You are right. He was terrible, bro. Let's see. Shula wanted Tommy Vigorito back. Tommy V. Kenneth in Cleveland chimes in with a little super chat. He says, Big O, Kenneth Cleveland is live from the Havana, Cuba VIP Boom Boom Room. Hola. Thank you, Kenneth Cleveland. You are a stud, my brother. Thank you for always supporting our show. We love you for that, my friend. Appreciate you immensely, and all of you out there that help us out by tuning in, downloading, supporting our sponsors, and then, of course, the super chats are priceless. Thank you so much. Dougie Fresh says, the meaning of life is the... I hope the Dolphins win a Super Bowl before Stephen Ross checks out. That's going to happen. Stephen Ross will be here in 2023, right? That's the year we win the Super Bowl. I keep telling you that. Just saying. Okay. Next year, we'll enjoy Tua starting a full season. Okay. All right. And then he'll build on that in his third year, second full year of starting. He leads us to a Super Bowl win. Okay. So as long as Stephen Ross plans on being around in 2023, he will be hoisting that Lombardi trophy, and I will be at that stadium. All right? And I'm sure some of you out there will be at and I will not be going as a member of the media. Well, maybe I will. I'll do both. I'll go in the stands, and then when the game is over, I'll go to the locker rooms just to, got to cover the locker rooms. Champagne filled. I'll have a change of clothes in the car. I'll be ready this time around. I wasn't ready for the Heat, and I wasn't ready for the Marlins when I was champagne filled. But I'll be ready next time that when I get to my car after Inter wins the MLS Cup, the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, and the Panthers win the Stanley Cup, that when I get back to my car, I will have a change of clothes. Guaranteed. Plus, I don't want to mess around with my nice Camry. Okay? I take care of my Camry too much to sit inside champagne filled in my Camry. Can't do that, bro. Let's see. Kenneth, I need my Cuban cigars. Please send me your guy to the Keys. That's what Super Boom Shack says. Oh, you're in the Keys, Super Boom Shack? That is life. That is awesome. Super Boom Shack says, my ATM PIN number is... Jose Cabrera, you didn't know you were going to start something new on the show. I'm going to say something without saying something. It's basically what's going on. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105. You can also reach out to us on the email, which is orlando@bigoradioshow.com. Here we go. Anyway, let's see. What do we have here? Oh, Earl Thomas, released by the Ravens, folks. Not a fit for the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so I keep getting. I got an email here also on it. You guys got to stop with the Earl Thomas stuff. I know we're in hour number 3 now of the show, right?
Well, we're gonna go till we go to Franco. Okay.
Yeah, Panizo.
So 10. But we have it segmented already. Number 4 for today.
Yeah.
Go look at it.
Yeah, Earl Thomas. Not for those of you emailing me. Not going to happen, dude. It's not a smart move, and the guy looks like a first-class a-hole. So I get it. I know I'll probably get 10 more of those by this afternoon.
Listen, with his wife pulling gun, we already have enough shootings in our town. We don't need,
Yeah, just a guy you want to stay away from. Dude, how about Louisiana? They're about to get hit by 2 storms. I mean, what kind of crap is that, bro? Jesus.
You know what I was thinking when I saw the past crossing? The movie The Perfect Storm, remember?
Yeah.
With the front and the way it just spun, and I'm like thinking, man, if these 2 storms were to hook up in the Gulf, what could potentially go? Because the Gulf is it's like the warmest water almost in the world.
I didn't go to see that in the movies. I saw it on cable. How did you see it?
I did see it in the movies.
Because that's a movie that is like
based on a true story.
Yes, but all I'm waiting for is the wave part. I hate to say
You're not even a surfer.
Yeah, no, it's right. No, of course I'm not a surfer, but that's not the point. The point is, like, I know what the whole gist of the movie's about, and how they build up to it, and going fishing and all that, and getting on the boat and all. And it's just like, bro, just get me to the part of the wave. Let me just see the destruction and you guys fighting the wave and trying to stay alive. Because it's one of those movies that kind of drags until you get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
That's the way you saw it, huh?
Yeah, I guess. You didn't think so?
You don't think? Well, you're not really into fishing and stuff like that. And you never. I mean, not that I am, but I had my time.
Jaws.
Yeah.
I'm into fishing. I mean, I did plenty of fishing with my dad.
No, but
I did skin diving.
And you can't appreciate what these guys do.
No, I do appreciate
going for
it,
tuna.
but I was just.
You don't appreciate what these guys do going for Alaskan king crab and snow crabs out in the Barrier Straits.
It's like that movie where all those storms and then New York gets bombarded with that big ass wave and then everything freezes over the day after or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, but that's a movie. That's not real life. Bro.
But that one's also dragging ass. And I'm like, let me fast forward until the destruction starts.
So the scene when they're over the mall, the glass encased mall, and the glass shatters. And the guy cuts him. Like, none of that had any impact until they get to New York. The wolves on the boat trying to get the.
Okay, that's not bad.
I mean,
that was pretty good.
Fighting the police. Like, hey, everybody needs to stay inside. We're in the safest spot, and they're like, we got to get up and go. You know, none of that had an impact.
I just needed the effects. I just wanted the effects. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I'm just like, when I know these are the kind of movies that are just destruction movies. Like the Rock movie San Andreas, which is like a terrible movie. I the other day, it's on.
I have never seen that. I think I saw 5 minutes of it. I was like,
terrible.
This is like John Cusack, the same thing. And yeah, okay, thank you.
It's terrible. So I turn it on on Hulu, and I just fast forward until the destruction starts, just to see some. I just want to see the effects, see how good it looks, and all that. That's it. That's all. Just get me to that point. I don't know. Hank Goldberg's left nut says the Marco storm is only going to be a tropical depression when it hits. The other will be a Cat 2, so Marco is just going to be foreplay. Yeah, but still, dude.
No, see, the
rain, brother.
That's the problem. The amount of rain that hits the land prior to the hurricane coming, that saturates the ground.
Yeah.
The roots don't have anything to hold on to, and here comes just a 70-mile-per-hour, not even a hurricane. Get it to 65, 70, and wham, there goes that tree.
No, and if the other one becomes a 2.
No, then you're really in trouble.
Yeah.
Because the ground is so saturated, everything's going to be crumbled.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Don't downplay it just because of that, man.
That sounds like a person that's never dealt with a hurricane.
And there'll be moments in certain parts of that storm where people will feel some serious gust and they'll suffer damage and all of that. So it's, and maybe some tornadoes also, touch down from all of it. So it's not an easy thing, man. I feel bad for the people in Louisiana. I mean, wow. They get walloped. They get walloped more than we do.
And
way more.
When you compound the fact that their hurricanes go through the Gulf of Mexico, that superpowers these things up.
Yep.
I feel worse for them. What I'm hoping, man, is one goes to Texas and one goes to, split it up, man.
Right.
If they hit the same spot, God help wherever that happens.
Yep.
God help.
That was me watching the Titanic. Will you hurry up and just hit the damn iceberg? Exactly. Exactly. Let's just fast forward and let's get to the exciting part. You hit the iceberg, everybody tips over. What do you do from then? You know, it's like the Poseidon adventure. Okay, wave hits, turns over the boat. Let's see, the big woman swim under and save everybody's ass. You know, that's
the part of the Titanic I could not stand is the old lady throwing the necklace into the water. Like, what's wrong with you? I want to slap the crap out of you, you moron.
Oh, I love it. It's a beautiful day. Anyways, prayers to our friends in Louisiana because, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to go through a rough one this week. Man, 2 storms in 1 week. They're going to get battered, and that is not a lot of fun. We've been a part of it, and it's
well, we had it one year I can remember.
Katrina.
We had
Katrina
Bam Bam, and we just left everything up. We were lucky. We were very fortunate. We didn't get
Wilma.
slammed. Yes.
Katrina Wilma.
Yep. And
Katrina
we just
Wilma,
left things where we were lucky.
No, we were lucky that we only got 1s out of those.
Yes.
Because Katrina ended up being a 5.
Exactly. When she
it left us and became a 5 and hit New Orleans.
Yeah.
And crushed them. Wilma, I
blame it again on the Gulf
Yeah.
of Mexico, man.
Wilma, I think, went through us and stayed a 1, and then I forgot what it did. If it you'd back into the
Did it do?
panhandle or something like that,
I think
right?
that's the one that did that crazy zigzag.
Right, and went back
Yeah.
into the panhandle and back out to the Atlantic or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Something like that. But anyway, so yeah, I remember. And let me tell you, Wilma and Katrina at 1s did some damage here because you could.
Yeah, we were without power for
several days. I was about 4 or 5 days. I was out power
exactly.
here.
It was about a week.
But
yeah.
not only
It's
that,
a long.
there were people that had damage, roof damage,
Right.
trees, whatever. Their car got damaged because stuff hit it. It was. I remember Katrina hit. No, yeah, it was Katrina, right? Because Wilma, I think, was the one that went through Broward, and Katrina went through Dade. I think it was is how it went. And when it went through us, bro, the house, we have shutters, and it was like moving, bro, trembling. And I was like, I looked at my wife and I go, "This is a 1?" Because it was wicked, bro.
Listen, think about it. When we have a really strong storm and we get those gusts, like that one day we were at Toyota. Remember that the wind was.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's 60, 70 miles. You're going to get damage with that type of a storm. You don't have to be a hurricane.
Yeah, we're deep into the roof, and it was.
And I can tell you,
the rain was still hitting us
on the dock, man. When the winds get up to 40 miles per hour, that's it. The cranes shut down. Like height-wise, you have to stop.
Yeah.
All things must cease.
Pat in Asheville says, "Bill, the old lady died at the end of the Titanic, so I guess God had some questions too." Speaking of movies, Big O, did you see the DC Freedom trailers with Batman, Wonder Woman, etc.? They look incredible. I have not. I'll check it out. I'll YouTube them after the show and check it out when I'm relaxing.
He must be talking about that thing they were advertising, the DC thing for the last week or so.
Yep. The great Mike No Go Zone says, "My heart goes out to New Orleans, one of my favorite cities and where I filmed an episode. Love New Orleans. Love going to New Orleans. But I only love popping in, popping out. That's all I can tell you. Because the one thing about New Orleans, I'll say, it is a depressing-looking place. Once you walk out of Bourbon Street, it is just not a bright place. You know what I'm saying? People are really cool because I've always had a good time in New Orleans. They're so nice overall. You know what I'm saying? But, man.
You don't like all the Spanish moss in the trees and that southern look and the swamp and the lakes and all that, man?
This looks very, very run down, man, unfortunately. And the area where Katrina destroyed, still down. You drive I-10 right through there. And
It's a ghost town.
Yeah, man. It's just.
Well, that's kind of like going through places that Mike just left up in Michigan.
Yeah.
Man, you go through Flint, Detroit, certain areas, man, it's like a ghost town.
Yeah, Mike posted a Hitsville picture on his IG page, and I was so jealous, man, because he went to Hitsville, USA, and took a tour of it. That would be so awesome. All right, let's do this. We're going to talk a little football. Franco Pano is going to join us on the other side from Miami Total Football. Inter Miami defeated Orlando City 3-2 over the weekend. They look like a different team. We'll talk to Franco about that. I still have some music news that I got to give you guys. A couple of other stories, too, to talk about. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Now Pizarro digging into the path here of Ulloa, appeals for handball. Now Ulloa outside of the boot, plays it out wide to Ben Sweat on the left-hand side. Sweat will measure the crosses in towards Carranza, who's won the header. It's a cross goal, and it's a second for Inter Miami.
Yeah!
Carranza has announced his arrival to the club with 2 goals in the opening 23 minutes, and Miami have their lead back. It's Inter Miami 2, Orlando City 1.
We just talked about overlapping fullbacks, and that's Ben Sweat's greatest quality. He can serve a ball if you get him in good positions. Victor Yola finds him. He's got time and space to get the ball far post, and then Carranza goes against the grain, back far post again. Gay golazo, brilliant goal, no chance for the goalkeeper.
I love it. I love it. That was a lot of fun on Saturday night, man. It was good to watch the boys finally get in the win column and play one hell of a game. They kind of hung on towards the end after they made some of the substitutions, but really their best performance of the year. Franco Pano does an excellent job of covering your Inter Miami CF squad. You can follow him on Twitter at Franco Pano. Better yet, listen to Miami Total Football, the podcast, and you could go to the Twitter page at Miami Total Football. You can find the link there. Subscribe and follow my man Franco. Franco, how you doing, baby?
I'm good, man. The start of what's going to be a busy week, but definitely doing well. Saturday was, like you said, a lot of fun for those of us that were lucky enough to be able to be in attendance. And hopefully it's a sign of better things to come, not only for the team, but for South Florida in general. Hopefully being able to get back to watching some soccer on a regular basis, and hopefully the stadium can open up soon to everybody, because it was definitely a fun time and a great experience.
No doubt. And Franco, when you look at the team, and we were talking about it, maybe it's the 3 weeks off now that they were able to really practice. What did you attribute the performance? Because my brother, there was chemistry. They looked really good together on Saturday. It was clearly their best performance of the year.
Yeah, by far it was their most complete performance, their most cohesive performance. Like you said, there was chemistry. There was more of a clear game plan that they were clearly executing. And I think obviously part of that, like you just touched on, was the 4 weeks that they had off. It was the first time in a while that they've had an extended period of time to train together and work on things together. The start-stop nature of this season has not allowed them to do that, and obviously that's an important part of an expansion team, is being able to work out the kinks and learn one another, not only on the field but off the field, and get to see what guys are like and what they do like, what they don't like, how they play, what runs they make, what runs they don't make. So all that definitely was a part. I also think Diego Alonso's tactics, his strategy, his game plan going into this game also benefited Inter Miami immensely. He went with a 4-3-3 formation. Hadn't really gone with that to this point in the season. Maybe the only other time was against DC United way back in March, in week 2. He put Matias Pellegrini, who had kind of been a little bit underwhelming, playing out wide on the left predominantly to this point. So he tucked him in a little bit more centrally to help give that midfield a little more speed and variety in terms of how they could move the ball and build up the attack. And that obviously played a massive role in Inter Miami looking a lot more dangerous this week than they have in other games. So a combination of being able to train together, but also Diego Alonso realizing some things about his squad, again, with time that he's had to see them and see what they can do and what they're about. And he put players in positions to succeed.
Yeah, and we were also talking about that. Maybe also there's a little bit of a fire lit in their asses. Matias and even Carranza, because one, you just had Blaise Matuidi, and so he's going to be playing in that midfield. So some of the guys that belong in the midfield are like, well, we better raise our play. And then Carranza, he's been coming back from the foot injury, the 20-year-old, and the kid knows that they're going to be looking for a number 9. That's what's going to be probably in the next spot. It's going to be a striker. And he's like, hey, don't forget about me. So I think some of the pickup and the future pickup are also giving a little inspiration to some of those guys on the roster right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the two guys you just named are both two of the younger players on the team. So makes sense that once they know competition's coming and playing time's going to be even harder to come by, they might raise their games. But I think it's just more of the fact that they'd had time to work on things together and really hone some things. And Diego Alonso said way back in March, if you can remember, that it was going to take Inter Miami as a group, as a team, 7 to 8 games to really assess where they could be this season. That was, again, back in March. So he was talking about late April, mid-May. Obviously, the pandemic changed things, and he couldn't get those 7, 8 games until a much later point in the season. He got 3 more at MLS's back. So that gave him 5 to have a more clear picture of what the team was like and who could do what. And then he had 4 weeks off of training, or not off, but away from games where he was able to just train and work on his things and then use the team in intra-squad scrimmages. So they're not official games, but again, more of a sample size of what players can and can't do. And I think Carranza, even himself, he came back at MLS's back. He had just come back from an injury, but he didn't look very good. It seemed like he was still working his way back to full fitness and full sharpness. Now he's had more time to recover, and you saw the fruits of having a little bit more time to regain that match sharpness, regain that match fitness that you need. Scored 2 great goals for Inter Miami on a historic night that was finished off with a win.
And let me tell you, I was happy for Ben Sweat because he's had his ups and downs too, and he kind of needed a moment like that also. You know what I mean? It's been a little bit of a struggle at times for Ben too, kind of finding his way. That was a beautiful pass, and then to head that opposite goal, dude, where the goalie had no shot at it. That was a thing of beauty, bro. That was un golazo.
Yeah, it was a great golazo. Shame it didn't end up standing as the winner. Obviously, Orlando's late goal makes it for Rodolfo Pizarro's 3rd goal stand as the winner. But it was a thing of beauty. Gorgeous dime, as they say, to use another word for the assist. Nice curled in ball from the left. If I had the time and space to pick him out, and picked him out perfectly. And then Carranza obviously finishes incredibly, being able to loop that ball back towards the back header. Not the easiest when your momentum's taking you one way and you're trying to force it back in the other direction. So heck of a job, great finish, a true number 9 finish. As they say. But that's, to me, look, that raises an interesting question, and I've definitely mentioned it on Twitter and in the work I've done since the end of the match. Is Carranza is obviously someone they're very high on, but he's still 20 years old. So this was just one game.
Right.
If he can keep this up, what does Inter Miami do with that final DP spot? Because they've talked about a number 9 for a long time, but recently, in the last month or two, they've talked a little bit more about maybe filling that number 9, that final DP spot with a winger instead of a number 9. If Carranza can put up more performances like this, then that's going to raise the question, or it's going to continue to raise the question, or further raise the question of, well, which position do you address? Do you go with a winger with this last DP spot and use Carranza as your starting striker the rest of the season, or do you sign a number 9 and go with the wingers you have right now and have Carranza as a reserve option, someone that you can still groom and mold into that position a little bit more with some time? So that's going to be an interesting question for Inter Miami. We'll get more answers surely this week once we see, again, a couple more games, see what Carranza does. If it's going to be, if he can consistently keep up that level, or if, young players, they tend to go up and down. They can have one good game and then one not so good game. He's 20 years old, so that might be a realistic expectation for his age and who he is. But if he can keep it up, if he can show this type of performance, because it wasn't just the goals either. I have to say that. It wasn't just the goals that made him stand out. His ability to hold off defenders, draw fouls, open up play for the rest of his teammates. It was the type of play that they haven't had up top all year long. And that's what I'm saying. If he can keep it up, or if he can show in these next 2 games this week that he can at least give you most of what you saw. Maybe not, you're not going to see him score 2 goals every single game, but if he can give you most of what you saw on a consistent basis, then maybe Inter Miami goes for the winger. But it's definitely an interesting question. There's different opinions out there from different fans after Saturday's game. I mean, I'm curious to hear what you think they should do, or what you would do.
9.
Number 9 for sure.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because dude, he's young, Carranza. Robbie is young. You need a veteran there that knows how to finish, so those young guys can learn from the stud. And so that just like Matuidi is going to teach some of those guys too how to play the game on both sides, by the way, not just offense, but also defense, and making the great runs that he can make. So, that to me is extremely important, that you have a mix of young guys and leaders. And they don't really have a 9 that's proven like that. And I think it would be I think it would be priceless for Carranza and Robbie to have that kind of guy around that they can pick his brain and kind of learn from him. So I think it'll be a number 9. Plus, it's sexy, it's marketable. Those are things that people, chicks dig the long ball. Chicks dig goals, bro. And so if you get the guy that can put a lot of goals, then you get on Sports Center and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the last week, man, the Fort Lauderdale CF team had a kid score from midfield, and now we had the header. So, when you score goals, you get on Sports Center, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, I think, and somebody asked me this on Twitter right before I jumped on here, I'm with you. If I'm Inter Miami, I'm probably still more inclined to try and sign a number 9, just because if you want to try to maximize the team's potential this year and try to make as deep of a run as possible, I think you need a proven number 9 that's going to come in and score some goals for you. Carranza might be able to do that, but to date in his career, he has less than 15 goals in his career, and he's young, so that's not a mind-blowing stat, but he still has a lot of room to grow, which is the overall point I'm trying to make. He still has so much room to grow. I think if you really want to maximize this team, you need a proven number 9 to come in and give you that type of consistent threat on a daily or on an every game basis. And I don't know if Carranza is going to be able to do that, just given where he is in his age. Obviously, I think a winger might be more realistic in terms of the financial side, because, like you said, goals are the most important thing in soccer, and goals equal money. That's why the strikers get paid the big bucks. So it might be tougher for Inter Miami to find a striker, but I think that's the area of need that they need to address more.
I'll tell you what I am concerned about on Wednesday, my brother. I hope Andres Reyes is fine, because he left that game, and that dude might be maybe next to Robles, the heart and soul of that defense. So what's the latest?
So we're actually going to have a call later today with Diego Alonso, and that question is surely going to come up. I mean, I have it already in the pocket waiting if someone else doesn't get to it before I do. So hopefully, like you said, for Inter Miami's sake, that he's good and ready to go, because to me, he's not necessarily the leader. I wouldn't say he's the heart and soul of the defense, because you've got veteran players like Leandro Gonzalez-Pires, who just debuted, who's more of a presence, more of a vocal leader. Nico Figal, even though he's also young, he's still got a little more experience.
By the way, Figal played a hell of a game on Saturday.
I thought Figal had I will touch on Figal in a second. But just to get to your main point on Reyes was very quietly very, very good on Saturday. He broke up one play early in the second half when Chris Mueller was threatening to break in. He just kind of like did a last-ditch tackle and pushed the ball out for a corner kick, I believe. And he was just very good also with his distribution out of the back and his ability to play through the lines and hit long forward passes to the midfield and help in the build-out. Andres Reyes was very good. I've been very impressed with him this season. But, yeah, when he left the game, just like in the first game against Orlando City in the MLS's back tournament opener, when he left the game changed. Diego Alonso, for some reason, it's a kind of curious decision on his part. He did not have a natural center back on the bench. Roman Torres didn't dress. So when Andres Reyes got hurt, or when he came out of the game with the apparent injury, Diego Alonso had to go with that 5 in the back because he had to push in Nico Figal and Ben Sweat inside to help cover that middle part of the field, and he put in Dylan Nealis and Mike Ambrose to cover the wings. So he had to switch to 5 in the back, and then that invited Orlando City to put more pressure on the defense, and then they got the second goal. So a bit of a curious decision for Alonso not to have a center back on the bench, but Reyes is very important to the group. You see it when he comes out of the game that the team struggles a little bit more defensively. So, and as for Figal, I think he has shown, and he showed in this game because this is the second time he's played right back for Inter Miami, that that's going to be Inter Miami's back. They're going with the back four. They've tried a back five to start games, but I don't think you're going to see Dylan Nealis start back out on the right wing or on the right flank for a while, especially after coming on and getting beat again by Nani. Nani's officially his boogeyman.
Yes.
It wasn't entirely his fault there. He should have had some help from Victor Ulloa because he's kind of stuck between having to cover two players, but his indecision to go with one or the other didn't help him, and he didn't help Miami there. So I don't think you're going to see Dylan Nealis at right back starting at right back anytime soon. I think Nico Figal, even though that's not his natural position, I think he's locked that up just with the performances he's had there. And it's crazy because he's a natural center back. He's played some right back. He played some right back in Argentina, but he looks pretty good out there. Maybe he's not the most natural player there, but he does show you a lot of good things, and he is able to get forward and put pressure.
He kept Nani out of the picture for a long time, bro. I mean, to do that, he did his job. Okay.
Yeah, his defending is great. It's just right back. You obviously need to get into the attack a little bit more and provide some overlap and some width, which he doesn't do a whole lot of, but he does do enough of. And you see him. He's definitely not a stay at home right back where he just stays there and doesn't ever join any attack. He actually does get into the attack, does get involved, which is impressive given that he is naturally a center back. So. I think it's his spot right now. I think Diego Alonso is going to want to, if he wants to go with this strongest back line, I think it's a combination of Nico Figal, Leandro Gonzalez Pires, Andre Reyes, and Ben Sweats at this point. I think that's clear after 6 games.
Franco Panizo is joining us, Inter Miami beat writer for Miami Total Football. Make sure you follow the podcast like I do and listen to it all the time. What do you guys do? Like 1 or 2 episodes a week? Something like that?
We're doing one episode a week right now. I mean, that was initially the target when the season started. Obviously, things went kind of for a loop there with everything that happened this year. But we're trying to get back on a weekly basis. Obviously, it's with me and my co-host Eric Krakauer, who does commentary for B and Sports. But we do it predominantly in English. We do have some Spanish sound bites that we drop in there from players or Diego Alonso here and there when we're able to speak with them. But I am thinking about starting a second show during the week in Spanish, looking for a Spanish-speaking co-host to do that with. So might be something soon because I need to show off mis skills en español un poquito más. So,
I got you.
Something to come soon, maybe.
All right, Robbie Robinson, what are you hearing? Because he's back with the team and practicing. Do we see him on Wednesday?
No, I don't think we'll see him this Wednesday. So he joined the team or rejoined or returned to South Florida last week or early last weekend, and he's under a mandatory quarantine period of 10 to 14 days. It's MLS protocol for players that have not been subject to regular testing, which he was not because he was not with the group for a prolonged period due to personal reasons. So I think this Wednesday will still be too soon for him. I still think he's under his quarantine period of 10 to 14 days. And aside from that, right now, he's not able to obviously be with the group and interact with the group, but he is able to train individually on his own at the training facility without coming into contact with anybody. But again, that's still just individual training. He's not able to do and work on his sharpness like he can when he's in teammate situations and game situations or different type of team drills. So that's going to take some time too. So even after this 10 to 14 day period, that once he passes that, I still think it'll be probably another week or two before he's back in the mix, just because he has to regain that sharpness, regain that match fitness. He's been gone for more than a month. I'm sure he was working out on his own when he was away from the group, but it's still not the same just to run and do all that then when you're working in a team environment.
So, Franco, apparently reports say you have failed Matuidi with all your connections to get him, the visa to get in here. What's going on, bro? What's up with Matuidi? When do we get his visa, MasterCard, whatever, to get him in here, bro?
I'm an American Express guy. No, I'm just kidding. No plug. Look, so Matuidi's going through the visa process. I mean, that's always kind of hit and miss in terms of how quickly or how long it can take. It's just I've covered the league long enough, and players, sometimes it happens really fast and they're able to arrive super quickly, and sometimes it's a lot more drawn out. It's a lot of tedious paperwork, a lot of, you need this, and sometimes the players don't have that, or they have to find that.
Does he have
to? He does. Just like Robbie Robinson. Once he is able to arrive to South Florida, he's going to have to quarantine because he hasn't been subject to regular testing under the MLS protocol.
Can we park his ass on a yacht like right outside the U.S. waters, and then he can just be quarantining the entire time on the boat? When he gets his visa, he just cruises on in, and that's it. We're ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know if you said that as intentionally or not, but look, so I was going to add this. He's coming off a long season in Europe, and those players obviously have vacation plans for after when their season ends. And he has been, and again, this is not something I'm reporting, this is just something that's happened. He has been on a boat with his family in recent days, enjoying some downtime. So I wouldn't be surprised that if, it was negotiated that he could have a week or two off before he travels to South Florida and restarts the season, just so he can have some downtime with his family and just recharge his batteries for a little bit, because he's definitely been out and about, enjoying himself a little bit after his season with Juventus ended. So, but look, they talked about it on Saturday as well, or maybe before Saturday. I'm blanking on when it was, but I think it was Saturday. And Diego Alonso said that today was Matuidi's next meeting with the visa process paperwork people, and that maybe he was able to arrive at some point later this week to start that quarantine period, but that they would learn more about that today. So we'll ask Diego Alonso later today. There should be some news, I assume, in the late afternoon, early evening, as to an update as to when Matuidi will arrive. The team has said they expect him to play at some point during this 6-game stretch, this phase 1 of MLS's resumption of the season, probably towards the latter half, just because of the time period and the mandatory quarantine period.
All right, Franco, so if I ask you, give me another player that you thought had a hell of a night that might go under the radar, who would it be?
So we touched on, I'm pointing out Pellegrini, you touched on Ben Sweat, we touched on Carranza. Pizarro obviously had a very good game involved in all the goals.
And Robles doesn't count. He's always kicking ass, okay? So just let's just take it for granted with Robles. Go ahead.
I've covered Robles a long time. I've seen him perform very well for a long time. I didn't think Saturday was his best game. That first goal is partially on him. He should have parried that shot. It came in hard, but he has to push that away from goal, not back towards the middle.
That DK kid is a linebacker in the NFL. Holy crap, bro! He's 20 years old.
You still got to push the shot away, man. You can't spill it back across the middle, because then opportunities come again.
That kid eats his spinach, bro. Okay, that kid's
for sure. Hey, his brother used to play in MLS. His brother was also a big dude, and also caused problems for defenders like that. I want to answer your question. I'm going to go with Will Trapp.
Yeah,
kind of flew under the radar.
That's the guy. Go ahead.
flew under the radar because his role is not overly sexy, and he doesn't stand out. And he had struggled by and large, and I definitely was critical of him over the first 5 games of the season. He didn't look very good, and in this game, he looked more like the Will Trapp that we've seen at MLS over the years, at Columbus Crew, that we've seen at times with the U.S. national team. He was able, this is why I said Diego Alonso, I think, learned things about his team in these first 5 games, and he adjusted and allowed players to play more to their strengths. And Will Trapp, like Ben Sweat, was one of them in this game, because Will Trapp in this game sat, and it's going to get very strategic and X's and O's, but he sat in the bottom of an inverted triangle in the midfield, and he was there as the lone defensive midfielder, sat right in front of Reyes and Gonzalez Pires, and his role was essentially just pick up the ball and move it forward or side to side to keep attacks going. And on the defensive side, that allowed him, by just standing in that central zone, to keep the game in front of him. Because Will Trapp is not a great defensive player. He doesn't have a whole lot of range. He's not overly physical. Doesn't break things up a lot. He's more of a reader of the game.
A team defender. He's like a team defender.
So in other games when he's been tasked to play next to Victor Ulloa, they both had to cover so much space that it's not necessarily play to his strengths. Where in this game he had Ulloa and Pellegrini, which again, Pellegrini for me very underrated performance because the energy he brought, the legs he brought helped tremendously on both sides of the ball. But Will Trapp definitely had his best performance in an Inter-Miami game to date. If he can do more of that, Inter-Miami is going to be better off because he's the guy. He's the one that's supposed to. He's expected when they traded for him. He's the player that's expected to, because he has a clean touch, to pick up the ball from the defense and help move it forward onto the next midfield line. So Will Trapp was definitely, for me, one of the top performers, even if he didn't stand out or make any big plays like maybe you saw with Carranza. It's the subtle little things, but I've said this and I'll say it again. I think he stays in the lineup when Blaise Matuidi gets here. I think Victor Ulloa is going to end up being the odd man out, even though Victor Ulloa is probably outplayed Trapp through these first 6 games, but I think Will Trapp, because of what he brings and what he's expected to bring, I think he's going to get the opportunity when Matuidi gets here to continue and keep that role, with Matuidi taking Ulloa's spot. Now, if he doesn't perform going forward, then maybe there will be a switch, but I think that's what we'll see early on.
Just to have a little fun, tell me you almost didn't fall off your seat late in the game when Breck Shea did that little dipsy-do spin around with the ball outside the box. I was like, whoa, what was that, dude? That was just like one of those moves. Like, wait a minute, dude. I'm expecting a number 9 to do something like that.
Hey, Brett. Look, I've been critical of Breck Shea, but he's always had those qualities. You know, he came onto the scene with FC Dallas way back when. We're talking almost 10 years ago now, and he had power and he had speed and he had the occasional dribble down the wing. And then, you know, it's been a while. He's obviously had some different types of issues. He's bounced around a bunch of different clubs. He's coming off a lengthy injury, made his team debut. I've been critical of him, but, you know, he came in and I thought he had a decent debut. Obviously, he didn't play very long and he was just tasked with helping try to see the game out. But what he was there, and I think he was the best player out of the subs that came into the game because he was able to defend and also help run down some time with that roulette that he pulled off and his ability. He also had one nice back heel pass into space that I think Mikey Ambrose ran onto and allowed for an attack to get into Orlando's half and, you know, and try to burn some of the time down because Inter Miami was trying to close the match. So a solid debut for Ben Sweat. I didn't almost fall out of my seat at that point. Honestly, I was like doing so many different things as the game was going final. I was writing, tweeting, looking for pictures. So but towards the end of the game, it's always tough to get as engaged with the game as you'd like. But I did rewatch it again and definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely one of the nicer individual moves on the night.
Yeah, that was a fun little move. Follow Franco on Twitter at Franco Panizo. Tell them about Miami Total Football, my brother, so they can tune in and subscribe.
Yeah, it's a free podcast weekly. It's me and my co-host Eric Krakauer. We talk just the X's and O's of Inter Miami. We give you the news, occasional sound bites when we can get them from different players or the coaching staff, and just in-depth coverage of Inter Miami on a weekly and game-by-game basis. And look, I'm going to say this: we haven't filmed this week's pod yet because there's 2 games this week. And I don't know how you feel about it, Big O, but you know, somos privilegiados because we were very privileged to be part of that first game. Yeah. Obviously, not many people were able to, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to the day when this door is open and fans can get back in there in numbers because the stadium holds in noise pretty well, at least on the east and west side. It sounded pretty loud. I don't know if you got that impression, but it sounded pretty loud to me. From where I was sitting at certain points, and there was not very many people in the stadium. Obviously, there was just teams and Jorge Mas and his family. So right. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when you can really get it full and rocking. So, it was a lot of fun, and we get to do it again on Wednesday.
I can't wait, my brother. Good stuff as always. Follow him on Twitter at Franco Panizo, and on the podcast, it's MIA Total Football. Make sure you follow them on the podcast there. Franco, as always, you're a stud, my brother. I'll see you on Wednesday. You be good.
See you Wednesday night, brother. Stay safe.
You got it. There you go, Franco Panizo, man. Good stuff there. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back for the final stretch right here on The Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we back. We thank Franco for joining us, and I encourage all of you out there to get on board, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun, the Inter Miami ride. It's going to get better and better and better and better as time goes on. If you want to get in, you can chime in on the YouTube chat board, which I see is very active within all of you out there. You can chime in on the super chat, on our website, on our email, orlando@bigoradioshow.com. And, of course, our text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. In music, by the way, let's give you a couple of things that happened today in music history. Back in 1968 on this date, the Jeff Beck Group, featuring Rod Stewart on vocals and Ronnie Wood on guitar, released their debut album, Truth. It's a pretty good group there, huh? Stewart, Beck, and Wood. Wow. In 1979, on this date, 500,000 fans came out to New York's Central Park to see the Cars perform a free show. 500,000 in Central Park for the Cars.
You moved on really quick. Jimmy Page was actually jealous that he wasn't involved with because they're all buddies, you know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. In 1981, on this date, Mark David Chapman was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison for the murder of John Lennon. In 1985, Huey Lewis and the News had their first #1 song with The Power of Love, which was featured in the hit film Back to the Future. It spent 2 weeks at the top of the Hot 100 charts. And in 1990, a judge in Reno, Nevada, cleared Judas Priest in a $6.2 million civil lawsuit that charged them with putting subliminal suggestions into their music, which caused 2 youths to attempt to kill themselves. I got it.
The 2 what?
The 2 youths. I always am humored by people that want to blame bands and subliminal messages and all that. Like they really do stuff like that.
Video games,
whatever. It's just incredibly ridiculous, the stuff that people get into. But then again, I know they're hurt because, their child did something, that wasn't smart and injured themselves. And then you want to blame somebody else for your own mistakes. And that's the sad part. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Benali family and all Quiet Riot fans out there as the drummer passed away over the weekend. He has been battling cancer for a while now. He passed away at the age of 68. He made public his battle against pancreatic cancer. He was told about the disease in April of 2019. And his wife, by the way, said when he was diagnosed, he had already bought and paid for and planned his entire services at Forest Lawn before his diagnosis. But I don't know how we're going to do it now with COVID. He was going to get the same kind of funeral that Ronnie James Dio and Jimmy Bain and all those funerals that we've been to many, many times over. She added that Frankie was saying we're going to rent the Rainbow Bar and Grill and have a laminated passes and a send-off in a rock and roll way. The way he arrived in L.A., he had a lot of history with the Rainbow, but I don't know how we'll do it and when, she said. She said she's remained committed to the idea of a large event. Even if it meant waiting, I think it's better to go big, even if it's later, she noted. I think people will still care, and I think he deserves the honor and recognition that he's earned. And I had Frankie Benali on my show a couple times over the years. He's one of those guys, and if you watch the Quiet Riot movie, and it's a terrific movie. I think I've seen it like 7 times. You can tell the pain he has with Kevin DuBrow, and when Kevin DuBrow took his life and OD'd and passed away, Frankie was pissed, hurt. He had all kinds of pain in him because he basically knew that his musical career was kind of over already at that point. And the next stage to that was never going to be Quiet Riot again, because you can't have Quiet Riot without Kevin DuBrow. You just can't. It's one of those voices it's not that Kevin had the greatest voice of all time, but it has its identity, and nobody sounds like Kevin DuBrow. It's just one of those deals. David Lee Roth never had a great voice, but in his peak, he had a good sound with Van Halen and brought a bluesy sound that went incredibly well with the music. You know what I mean? But it wasn't because you're sitting there wowed at him hitting all these octaves and the range that he had, and you're like, oh, wow, he's Freddie Mercury. No, that's not what it was about. And so Frankie was in pain, you can tell when you watch the biography of Quiet Riot. And it's been a battle for him ever since. He's had, I don't know how many singers since, and you could tell his love for music, his love to keep Quiet Riot's name alive. He kept battling, man. He kept fighting, and you couldn't but admire that. You know what I mean? Because it was out of his control that he ended up losing Kevin DuBrow. And now out of his control, we end up losing him, and obviously his wife ends up losing Frankie, which has got to be tough for him. It's what watch the biography if you can, because you will feel for Frankie. You will feel his pain at all levels. Chris Cornell. Well, the movie based on his life and his final days, the Soundgarden singer, as you all know, committed suicide. Reportedly, they will start shooting next month. It's titled Black Days. The film is set to star Johnny Holiday, who played Carl Perkins in the 2005 Johnny Cash biopic Walk the Line and appeared in the Sun Records TV series. He's also known for his musical career named Kid Memphis and having performed with a variety of blues greats. Backstage revealed the list of roles to be casted: American Films LLC project, including wife Vicky Cornell, a doctor, a road manager, a musician, and background or extra characters. The report said that filming, scheduled to start on September 10th, will take place in small groups to observe the coronavirus restrictions. From the cast of the Academy Award-winning Walk the Line comes a based on true event stories, The Black Days. John Holiday embodies a legend, a comment from Joaquin Phoenix. Johnny, you're an effing genius. It also includes in the notice, No further information was made available through the site. Includes an option to sign up for production updates and all that. As you all know, Cornell died back in 2017 following a performance in Detroit, which was then later ruled as a suicide. And one of the great rock and roll singers, man, Chris Cornell, has got a beautiful voice, man. Just an amazing voice. The other thing, it is Monday, so there is something called Metallica Monday. And who was it that is in, is it James, I think? Who's the one that said that was in Mexico? I think it was James, right? I want to say one of them said he was in Mexico. I forgot which one it was now. I think it was James Roman. I think it is that the name? Can't remember everything, but anyway, for those of you for I think it's James Roman that said he's in over in Mexico. Well, you will get the 2017 performance on March 3rd in Mexico City tonight at 8 o'clock on Metallica's YouTube channel. So if you want to watch a little Metallica action, 8 o'clock tonight, YouTube, Mexico City. And you know how it is when you get a metal show in South America, in Central or South America. It is a madhouse, okay? It's like a soccer match, okay? It's like an intense, electrified soccer match in Central and South America, okay? That's kind of what it is with a metal. Am I wrong? In a metal show in Central South America? Like, we don't even come close to them in this country.
I can remember seeing the Greta Van Fleet concert in Chile.
Oh, yes.
Anything Iron Maiden, anything Metallica, ACD, anything Central America, South America. It's a 60,000 mosh pit.
Yeah.
60,000 people in a mosh pit.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And for them to do it for Greta, which is like a baby band, you know, compared to Metallica.
That was my point.
Like
exactly.
Metallica's a great
They
grandfather.
probably don't even know all the music. It doesn't matter. They're rocking.
Yeah. Oh, it's weird, right? Because they're so young, and yet in Orlando, we saw everybody singing all the songs. Like, it was like the Orlando crowd was, wow, man. That was a great crowd. That was probably the best crowd I've seen at a Greta Van Fleet concert so far, was the one in Orlando. Not the best concert, because that's the one I saw at Red Rocks. The second night at Red Rocks was the better night, because they did a little extra jamming. And they had like 5 cameras, and they had like this great production. I know it's coming, dude. I know they're going to release in a year or two.
Show had the potential.
Oh, yes.
And just the acoustics in that place, man.
Yeah.
And it's such a groovy place.
Yeah.
It's a shame, man. It really is a shame.
No, I'm with you. No doubt about it. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the text line, many ways to reach out to us. On Twitter at Big O Show. Email Orlando at BigORadioshow.com. Jesse in Minneapolis says, Big O, I am not sure of what all you saw with the White Snake stream, but I saw 2 links for the video. I did not experience what was described. Really? Wow. Well, you know what? Email me the link you saw that was a good link, because the link I saw was blurry. It was like a fuzzy picture, and the audio was not good. If you got clean video and audio, please send it to me, Jesse, because I went right to the YouTube Whitesnake website, obviously, and because I subscribed to it, actually. And so I went to it because I subscribe to all the bands that I like. I just go to I just type in their name and go to their YouTube page and subscribe, because, you know, you never know what they're going to put out for news. And the link I saw, which apparently a couple of other people felt the same way, it was blurry and it didn't sound great. And I was disappointed. And I said, you know, I can't watch it like this. It's just, it's no fun. You know what I mean? So if you got one, Jesse, that was clean, oh, please email me. Don't text me. the link. Don't. Well, you can Twitter it actually at Big O Show. You can Twitter the link, but I'd rather you email it because on the text it won't come out. It'll be tough, and so better yet, email Orlando at Big O. Oh, well, you got it there. You got it right there. Orlando at BigORadioshow.com. So there you go. What else do we have? Listen to the end of "We Were Born to Rock" for the greatness of Frankie Banali. Okay, Frankie Banali is a hell of a musician. Hell yeah! Remember when Y100 was a good radio station? Oh God, I was a child when that. When Y100.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, I was.
When gas was $1.20 a gallon.
You're talking about when they still jammed Heart and the Eagles, and when classic rock was still kind of transferring over to regular radio stations, and they could jam FM from Steely Dan or something, that kind of stuff. Yeah, which is my favorite Steely Dan song, actually, FM. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I remember those days. But that was that was when they had the blue sticker that you would get at Burger King or something like that, back in those days.
And they had Flipper going through the Y.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Love that. 100 nudists got together in France, and French health authorities have warned of a very worrying outbreak of the coronavirus at a famous nudist resort in the south of the country. At least 95 people at the resort at the Cap d'Age, I don't even know if I pronounced it right, 30 miles south of Montpellier, have tested positive for the virus so far, with more results due this week. This is in addition to an estimated 50 people who reported falling ill after returning home from the holiday village. The health officials have warned visitors to the resort, which is also popular with swingers, that they must comply with all social distancing measures, including wearing face masks. And they've got pictures of them all there, and they're blurring all their parts, and they're all over the place. None of them were wearing masks. Not one. France made masks mandatory in all indoor spaces on July 20th, with only very few limited exceptions. The nudist resort contains multiple indoor areas, including shops, banks, restaurants, bars, and clubs. Medics carried out 194 tests on visitors who volunteered at the resort on Monday last week, 38 coming back positive. Another 244 tests were carried out on Wednesday, 57 positive. 310 additional tests on Friday. Results will come in earlier this week. Not very smart, folks. You're also, and again, you look at the pictures of this whole thing, the wrong people are nude. That's just.
Well, that's usually what happens at nudist camps.
I mean, it's
the wrong level of nudity.
Just some of us shouldn't be in nude camps, bro. Like me. Why am I going to go to a nude camp? Now, David Beckham, he and Victoria can go to a nude camp, right? J-Lo, she can go to a nude camp. You know what I'm saying? Certain people that are in great shape, they could probably go and get nude with no problem. Halle Berry, she'll look fantastic in a nude camp. You know what I'm saying? But most of us probably should not be in a nude camp. You know what I mean? That's not the perfect
what they
situation.
say, man. Most of the nudity at the camp, you don't want to be seeing it.
And speaking of stupid COVID moves, Terrell Pryor, he was stabbed by Shayla Brinston, which was his girlfriend. So now TMZ has learned that Shayla Brinston, who officials say nearly killed Pryor in a November incident, was now arrested months later for allegedly attacking her mom. Officers responded to a call of a domestic disturbance in the residence in Mulhall, Pennsylvania, around 1 a.m. on March 15th. This is from a while back already, but now it's coming to light. Cops arrived. They say says in the docs, Brinston told them she had been in an argument with her mother, Cops say when they were able to locate Brinston's mom, she told them Brinston had attacked her, hitting her several times in the face. In the docks, officers say they noticed a small laceration and swelling around the woman's lower lip. They also say the woman complained that her right eye felt swollen. Cops eventually arrested Brinston, and prosecutors ended up hitting her with a misdemeanor charge of simple assault. But a court case tells us the case was dropped August 19th after the alleged victim did not appear at the scheduled hearing. Brinston, though, still isn't out of the woods yet. She still faces a felony assault charge in the prior stabbing. And I'm sure they'll bring up this, too, at the same time in the court case, which then shows that she is obviously really sick and she could attack anybody.
She just likes to play with knives.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That's all.
She definitely likes to play with knives. There's no doubt about that. Tristan Thompson, by the way, is also in trouble because he apparently is holding massive parties at his house. So they caught a bunch of cars there and all of that, and these parties where people aren't wearing masks and you're not supposed to have any of these house parties. And good neighbors are ratting out these people, and they should, because I got to tell you, in my neighborhood, if I saw a big ass party, I'm gonna rat them out. I got no problem with that. So if you live out in West Kendall and you got a big ass party going on, and I cruise by and I see it, I'm ratting your ass out. Okay? I don't care, bro. I need to get my life back. I need to be able to go to concerts. I need to be able to travel. I want to go to games. I want to see stadiums full for the Heat, for the Dolphins, for the Marlins, for the Panthers, for Inter Miami. Okay? I want to get back to life. I want to be able to take my lovely wife to a restaurant, chill out, relax, not wear a mask, walking in, hanging out, walking out, nothing. I want to get past the mask, okay? And I got plenty of them to spare. Love my masks. I style them. I wear them. I follow the rules, but I do want it to end, okay? I'm not the person, I take this serious. I protect myself. I'm not the person that's going to hide in a hole my entire life. I don't do that, okay? But I am super concerned about this. And if we have idiots like Tristan Thompson, we need to report idiots like Tristan Thompson. Okay? Pretty simple. I don't think it's that difficult to figure out what we need to do as a society. And if you see people like this, you need to report them, man. If it happens in your neighborhood, would you report them?
It would depend. If it's over 10 people,
I'm saying
12 people.
No, dude.
Yeah.
It's a party.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Now I'm talking about a little get-together. There may be family and 4, 5, 6 cars.
You're allowed 10. You're allowed 10 to 12 people.
I'm talking a party. There's 20,
You're talking
30,
a whole
40
block
cars.
being messed up.
You're right. I'm talking about a party.
Right.
Like people have in neighborhoods.
Bayou.
Bayou. Exactly. Right. I am reporting your ass. Not only am I reporting you, I'm actually going to keep my car parked about a block away to watch the cops pull in to just bust your ass, and I'm going to be laughing. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. Not only am I going to report you, I'm going to sit there and watch as the cops show up. Just for the hell of it. Okay? Yeah, no problem. I have no problem doing that. I'm not into ratting or being a stool pigeon whatsoever. Never have been in my life. But in this case, for a pandemic, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. All these idiots that are protesting without a mask or going to rallies without a mask or going out without a mask or refuse to wear a mask, they're screwing me over. Okay? They're screwing you over. You know what it is? Like, I haven't been to a restaurant where I can sit down with my wife just to have a meal. I can't go to a movie theater with my wife. I can't go anywhere. I'm tired of that. No, dude, I need this thing to end. So if you guys want to be idiots, then go ahead. I'm not going to get in a fight with somebody for a mask. If they're not wearing it, I'll tell you, whatever, you don't want to do it, I'll move on. That's it. You know? Told a friend of mine on Instagram the other day about it. Still doing it. It's like, all right, bro, you know, whatever. You want to do that, go ahead. You're part of the problem, not part of the solution. So, no problem. I'm ratting your ass out. Josh says, I'm with you, O. The Franken beans are clean. The rest is natural. I don't know what that means, but, well, I guess you're shaving down there or something. Is that what that means? Let's see. The last nude camp I went to at Hedonism in Jamaica, a lady told me I had nice-looking balls. Okay. All right. That's, I mean, it's better than saying you got ugly-looking balls, I would imagine. Draco says, talk about the naked truth. Yeah, there's no doubt. Watch out for a Honda when it passes by for all the people who party in Kendall. It's Camry, by the way, bro. Okay, it's Toyota. Okay, let's say at least if you're gonna, just throw me under the bus, let's get the car right. Let's get the car maker right. You know what I'm saying? And go to Toyota of Hollywood too, 1841 North State Road 7. Tell them that Big O sent you. Steve Oss Driving Company. We'll take care of you. Draco says, I was double transplanted and literally stuck in my house. It's heartbreaking knowing this could have been mitigated threefold. Yep. Yeah, months ago we could have ended this thing and we all could have been back to normal again. Not completely if we were responsible, but pretty close to it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Yeah, and we're right around the corner with winter. Winter is right there, dude. So did you see Kellyanne Conway is leaving Trump?
Yes, I did.
So she's leaving Trump. George Conway, her husband, is leaving Project Lincoln. And he hates Trump. And you heard about Claudia, the daughter? What she wants to do? What does she want to do?
Yeah, I've seen. She's suing.
She wants emancipation, bro.
Yeah, I saw that.
She wants to dump her parents. And by the way, she heard all of this and she says, I still want emancipation. I don't care if they're leaving. Because she disagrees with her mom so much. I told you, that family would be great reality TV. I mean, you want train wrecks? The Conway family is a complete train wreck. Okay? Complete train wreck. Wow. Daughter doesn't want anything to do with both mother and father. Father hates what the wife does. Wife hates that the husband is constantly ripping her boss. Isn't that weird? How does the things we've seen, we've never seen a president that has 400 cabinet members arrested, indicted, in jail, whatever, in trouble. We've never seen a president that scoops up all the hate groups in the world, right? We've never seen a president that hides his taxes when all the other ones show it, right? The things we see, we've never seen a president that lies. Like in every press conference, there's multiple lies. And then you think about it, the president employs somebody that their spouse can't stand and publicly talks about it. Think about this. You would be married and your wife or husband is ripping constantly your boss in public. How would you keep your job? And yet she keeps her job. Now she's leaving because nobody stays with that guy. Wow. It's amazing to me, all the stuff we've seen, okay? And then the fact that there are people that still defend the dude like that is beyond me. It's like, wow. It's like by now, if you voted for him, you should feel ashamed that you voted for him.
There's a bunch of
It's like,
ass
wow.
kissers of Trump. Kelly Conway is on another level.
But she gets paid. She gets paid. So
but
it's
she's
different.
on another level, though.
No, I know, but she still gets paid.
I mean, remember one of the first shots of her in the Oval Office? She's got her shoes off, her feet are up on the couch. You know, they're having a freaking meeting. She looks like she's at home getting ready to grab the remote and turn on the TV.
Meanwhile, she used to rip Trump. So it's just weird how we've never seen this. And by now, like, if you've watched everybody around the dude get arrested and how dirty everything seems to be and all the lies.
But they're great people.
And then, yeah, right. And then it's like you're like trashing Kamala, but then the rapist woman, what's her name? Giselin or whatever. I wish her the best. It's like all these things that he does, and it's like, how do you even defend that guy still at this point? It's weird, dude. It's just we're such in a strange place in our country.
He loves hosting beauty pageants so that he could just casually walk through, but all the religious people are behind him.
It's really just amazing, man.
Does that make any sense?
Nothing. None of this makes sense.
Thank you.
None of it makes sense. None of it. None of it. Because everybody's watching what's going on, bro. And yet how people
No, but you know Trump, look, I don't really talk to them except for like once every 6 months now, but those people that are hard, it doesn't matter what the guy does. I don't understand it. It's like they're clueless. Their radar's turned off. Something, right? Because you have friends like that. It doesn't matter.
I vote for Republicans, so I'm different.
I'm not, dude.
No,
I voted for Reagan. I voted for Bush.
But what I'm saying is, I vote for Republicans too. So it's just this is a guy that I would not want to associate with at all. And by now, look, I get it. Maybe you voted for him before and you thought and whatever, and you thought and you're anti-Democrat or whatever. I'm not anti either. I'm anti for both parties. And so I get it, but by now,
you didn't realize that this presidency was going to be such a reality
4
show
years
joke.
later, I mean, it's like, dude, come on, bro.
You don't see the true colors of this guy?
It's weird, man. It is really, really weird. I've never seen a president really like how hate groups love the guy. And like he doesn't ever absolve himself from if I was a candidate in a hate group like my flag, I would rip the hate group to a point that they would never want my flag again. Because I would say, hey, I don't associate with scum like that. And in fact, we're going to eliminate that kind of scum from this country, and they would never hold my flag again. You know what I mean? It's like, but the guy embraces.
When have you ever seen a president host
weird
gatherings for his group? Right. You have a gathering for everybody, not just your group. Dude, you're not. What are you running for? You're already president, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's not the guy for everybody. Dude, Big O, the narc is listening. That's it, baby. That's what it's all about. Bring on the narc. The Conways make the Osbournes look like Leave It to Beaver. Oh, yeah, bro. Hell yeah. If you voted for Trump, you should get your voting rights revoked. Nah, not revoked. It's just, I think there's got to be people that regret it by now. Like, even if they're Republican, they've got to regret it by now. With all the things that I mean, you could tell he's just a terrible human being.
The scariest thing that's going on right now is this manipulation of the mail, messing with these machines, messing with boxes and all this, you're talking about suppressing people's vote. This is unacceptable.
Right, he's going to do anything illegal to try to stay in office. But he won't stay in office. And he can do whatever he wants. People are going to come out like bandits. This time around, they're going to take it serious, and they'll vote his ass out. And he's going to lose in a landslide. It's going to be really an ugly vote. You'll see.
Well, let's face it.
I can guarantee you that this time
the only reason he won was because of the Electoral College. Yeah. He lost the popular vote by 3 million votes, okay?
He'll lose by a lot more than that.
And that's one of the first things that man, I don't understand why we still have this Electoral College. It needs to be done away with.
Oh,
This is ridiculous.
We'll see, but man, it's just weird. And I saw the Conway story, and it's like, wow, that is a torn up family, dude.
It just gets better and better, man.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up here on the show. We thank Franco Pano as always. Let's thank our super chatters, Gus 1388, man of 1,005 holds, Kenneth Cleveland. Thank you all out there for super chatting. Yeah, Tremolio, by the way, goes, but the other guy's half dead, which means Kamala, yeah, that's how it's pronounced, would be president. What she did in Cali was scary. Yikes. Yeah, I know, but you can't have racist in the White House.
The lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
I don't care how you slice and dice it. It's still.
I'm with you. Biden is not really going to bring us out of anything, but he's not an evil racist, dude. I'm sorry. That's not an evil human being like this guy. That's the problem. That's my problem with it. I'd vote for anybody else that you could bring up Republican over Biden, but not that guy. I voted for plenty of Republicans. I will not vote for that guy. Never, ever in my life could I ever be associated with something like that, because that's a thing. It's not even human. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. You all be good out there. Much love. Thank you for downloading the show. Thank you for listening. We love you all out there. You all be good, and good luck if you laid any wood on the action today. Be good.
Stay safe.